Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the high banks of Daytona International Speedway. Race 26 of the ARCS Darkside Mustangs A-Square Cup Series. We're live from Daytona. I'm Carmen. Sienna. Alongside me for the first time, we have a three-person booth for this cutoff race, the regular season finale. Alongside me, a woman of many accolades and talents, Kristina Ryan, and as always, Kevin Young. Daytona, it's so special to be here. Again, it's sort of become our thing here every time we get into August, late August, early September, Labor Day weekend. It's always a party. It's always a fun time, but it's very critical. Kevin, you know all season long how much drivers have fought here for it to come down to this race. 3, 4, 5, 6 drivers can try to point their way in, but a win is the best way to do it. How much stress does that put on drivers on just that, the stats perspective, as far as like how long the season has taken just to get to this point?
Well, the thing is, since it actually follows the real-life calendar, you follow the same progression as a NASCAR driver in real life does. And it's just the pressure week in and week out for a lot of these drivers coming in week in and week out and looking at their opportunities slowly tick, tick, tick away. For some, like some that won early on in that point, like Breo, Tommy Reynolds, for instance, they won early on. They did not have to worry about it. The pressure was off, but this is the last race for them until the playoffs start and it's time to get maybe serious again in some of their mindsets. But for some drivers, this is their last chance. This is the last swing at the bat, the Hail Mary, if you will, to try to get into the playoffs. And they're going to have to put a Herculean task to try to overthrow to get in. Or if you're on the bubble right now, the only way you'll stay in is to put out a good effort as well. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how this all plays up. And by the end of it, we will know the 16 drivers they'll be fighting for an A-Square Cup championship.
And obviously, we see as qualifying is underway here, we'll pivot to the 33 of Blake Henderson on track for tonight's event. Kristina, this track means so much. Doesn't matter if you love this track or not. It means the world to be able to win here. How difficult is it to win at this track, especially when there's so much on the line and there is so much that is going to happen across this 80-lap race?
Yeah, there is a whole lot that goes into a win at not just Daytona, but any plate track. It's a whole different mindset. It has a whole different skill set. You can be the best driver in the world on road courses and on regular ovals like Auto Club or Kansas, and then come into here and just get snubbed every single time. It is very difficult to pull it off. It's very challenging for a lot of drivers to run around cars in such close quarters. This is the closest these guys are going to get, these guys and gals are going to get to each other all year long. They're going to be pushing, they're going to be shoving, they're going to be side drafting. There's so many elements that go into a plate race. It's what makes it so rewarding to win, but it's what makes it one of the most special on the calendar. And obviously, it doesn't matter what you do at Daytona, whether it's the road course or the oval, winning here is its own right. So, especially like you said, with everything on the line, it could be a championship berth for a lot of these drivers too.
Yeah, absolutely. We're watching Blake Henderson on track at the moment. He finished his second lap. Matthew Leiter finishing his first lap, and just in time because he's got one more lap and just enough time for it. 27 drivers here at Daytona. For a lot of drivers, it's a win and you're in. There is no other way around it. You have to win to get into the championship fight. Donald Ray, Edward Marshall, those are two drivers at the front of the field. You see them at the top of the screen. They are on the front row. That's the best spot for them to be because they have to win. They have missed races. Obviously, Edward Marshall came in after the first 12 races for line power.
Once before.
So he has missed an absolute ton of time. Same with Donald Ray, who stepped away for several weeks. Greatest place to be is up front. Everyone else gonna have to figure out how to get there. Matthew Leiter, first lap was improved on, 49.7, enough for just 19th place. So he'll start in the first heat.
Worth keeping in mind, his best finish was at Atlanta this year, so the plates have been fairly kind to him. But he's gonna have to do it from pretty deep in the field tonight if he wants to get the win and lock himself in.
And the checkered flag flies here at Daytona for qualifying. We'll jump right into heat race number 1. This is what we're looking at. for the Firecracker 200. Heat race number 1. Everyone outside of the front row has to go through these heats. Top 10 score points in these heats. So Brandon Fetterplace leads the way alongside Josh Gaiman, then Emma Kruger and Kevin Feemster in the second row as we look at these 13-car field. Obviously, points matter a ton. Kevin, the gap between 14th and 17th is as tight as it's been all season.
Yep. Going to run that down real fast, but right now, 2 names to keep an eye on right now is Emma Kruger and Kevin Feemster. Emma Kruger, last driver in right now as it stands. If a new winner were to happen, she right now would be the first driver to get bumped. However, looking at the points, she is only 16 points back on Kevin Feemster. And if Kevin Feemster has a poor heat, and let's say Emma Kruger ends up winning this heat, that brings a 10-point swing the other direction. So instead of at the end of this heat, in that example, Emma Kruger would then, going into the main race, be only 6 points behind Kevin Feemster if everything goes well. But the same thing, it could easily go the reverse direction, and she could be in a bigger hole. So these heats have value to these drivers, and it could easily change depending on the thing. And if every point matters, if a new winner does come and go, it may be in a situation where you do not want to be the driver currently 16th in the standings, because you will not be fighting for a championship if that happens.
And here's the other thing about this. With 13 cars in the field here, that means all but 3 are going to get points. You need to strike while the iron's hot if you're Emma Kruger, because if you make a mistake, as long as your car's still rolling, there's a chance you still score points. Why not go for it right now? You have it's such a unique situation for these drivers where there's stage points, there's heat race points, and then there's the race points. There's so much for grabs as far as points go. It's going to be a frenzy all night long. You aren't guaranteed a good opportunity when we get the full field of cars out there. It's better to go now in these little duels. There's less energy. If you make a big move work, it's going to be harder for the rest of the drivers to overcome that. So the best thing you can do in this scenario is go for it now. There's less risk and more reward.
True. Plus, it's also good practice, so you know what can and can't work. You know, even though this is the multiple plate races they've run so far this season, it's good practice in that regard to practice plate racing. Who can you trust? Who can you not trust? Because usually when a plate race happens, there's always that one driver that you have in the back of your mind. You see it throughout the broadcast. One driver that you do not want to work with when the push comes to shove late on, if you can help it, because they are a loose cannon. So
absolutely.
Good practice to see. And one more thing to keep note on as well, even though the gap is pretty big, it's not clinched yet, is the regular season championship as well. Feather Place leads by 41 over Tommy Reynolds. It's most likely going to go Feather Place's way, but with how points can award, it's still not out of the realm of possibility. If Feather Place has a terrible, good, no, very bad day at the office, and Reynolds does all he needs to, that can still switch. But right now, there are 2 major battles, and with Feather Place being in this heat as well, he can basically make it so it's almost unreachable, the gap for the regular season championship.
It's exciting. If you thought the stage race last night and the cup race, what was it, 35 laps to start? You thought that was short. 6 laps. That's all these guys and girls get. And there's so many points on the table. And I can't help but say it. We have a Michigan University car on the inside, right next to an Ohio State University car.
We haven't had a chance to touch on that. This is collegiate
night. Yeah, it's college night.
So this is
it's so funny that those two end up side by side of all teams in the field.
And it's also they're both cars fighting for playoff positions, both 15th and 16th respectively. So even more weirdly symbolic.
Wolverines and Buckeyes right behind Gaiman and a Bearcat. That's going to be a fun one to watch.
Absolutely. 5 laps will be in this heat. Remember, no cautions. That's a big thing, so it very easily can go wrong in these heats. Sometimes it does. But the green flag is in the air, and the Firecracker 200 begins with qualifying.
Qualifying. It's such an understatement with everything on the table tonight.
Yeah, this is a stretch of the word qualifying, at the very least.
Absolutely.
More like sudden death already.
Look at that. Feemster already getting a little wobbly there, trying to do something.
Mm-hmm. And there he goes.
Yeah. He knows the points are important.
A little bit of a technical issue on our graphics overlay, but right now, thanks to holding station.
Yeah, Feemster pushed Gaiman out and then pulled down to the bottom and jumped in front critically of Fetterplace. Fetterplace and Kruger did get moving, but it took them about a half a lap to do so. That's not uncommon for the inside line. That outside line gets such a good run on the starts and the restarts coming out of turn number 2. But I was a little surprised to see Gaiman not try to cover that off. He's fallen backwards now. Has went from 1st to 5th in half a lap.
But we've seen week in and week out, we saw past week's Gaiman's had kind of poor heat runs at the road courses, but he's someone that can definitely get going as Kruger's going to jump to the high line here. She wants to try to push to the front and lead the outside line here. Gaiman going to give her a shove.
And she's got it. Yes. I mean, huge momentum between those two. And they are going to clear. Now, here's the question is how far will they clear? And are they going to clear both of them down? Because now they're 3 cars clear. And now same thing we just saw with what Feemster did. The second car in line dumps the car on the front and then jumps down to the bottom. But it looks like this time LaJoy gets to the back of Kruger in time, and they're going to continue that momentum on the top.
Yep, right there. Oh, LaJoy thought about it. He had an opportunity, but it did not open. And one more thing to note as well, speaking of that 8 car, Bradley Wright, he is also currently last driver out. He is 46 back of Emma Kruger. Again, likelihood of him being able to point his way in is not high. But you never know in situations. Emma Kruger gets last points billings, no repeat winners. If he can get enough points, maybe he can give himself a fighting chance. So every point matters at 8 as well. And he wants to try to minimize the points that 70 can get.
Yeah, I call this cautiously optimistic. You have to push hard if you're these bubble drivers, but you also don't want to be the one to cause a crash. You've got to be aggressive. You've got to be as aggressive as you can be without being an idiot. Because if you make a mistake in this heat race in such a unique situation, listen, we don't forget as race car drivers.
Oh.
So if you make a mess up now, no one's going to help you in the main.
Yep. We've seen that time and time again. Bradley Wright going to jump to the high line. Feemster going to go low. He wants to go to the front here. He sees an opportunity. He's going to try it, and he's going to push to the front here.
Yeah, big momentum forming up on the top again. It's going to take him a minute to get rolling, but Wright and Fetterplace starting to hook up. But it looks like Wright not the best at getting pushed. It seems like that outside line now struggling a touch. It looks like they're starting to generate a run, but now they're falling back.
And that's the thing you'll notice as well. Some drivers are very good at pushing, some are good at receiving, and some aren't really good as either. Not really as comfortable.
Whoa!
Oh, Bradley right around. He is going to spin down, and that is not good. No cautions in the heats. He doesn't hit anything, but he is going to be way off the 8 ball here, and that's going to be any chance of getting stage points done here in heat number 1. That 8 car is going to be coming from the back, too, to make things worse.
And this has started to spread the field out a bit, so now Fetterplace and Kruger have gotten a nice run from this, and there you see Gaiman go up to try to block it off. And by the way, already coming to the white flag this time by in the stage, so things are starting to pick up quickly here.
Oh, Kevin Feemster got bumped bad there by Leiter. Almost hit the apron there, almost sent it to the high side. He saves it. You can see the 29 not taking any chances. He is bailing here. He does not want to end up getting wrecked. As we hit the white flag wrap there, Leiter going
3 wide.
3 wide.
Yeah, that's going to slow everybody in those first 2 lanes down. Now it offers the opportunity for Gaiman, and Fetterplace dumps him to the inside. Now what is Kruger going to do? Make it 3 or push?
Oh, Kruger going low. Leiter almost didn't get the space there. There's still, I would say, big in the lick. LaJoy hard in the wall with Feemster in tow. Feemster's got damage.
The radios are lighting up. They are not impressed with that. But now here we go. 6 cars left in it. Oh, and Kruger gets turned by the 83.
Right into horn brake.
Huge crash there.
And they're still wrecking. They're still not being able to hang on to it. Gaiman's going to come home to win with Leiter second, and Fetterplace now spins on the bottom.
Yeah, but it's going to be interesting to see how they all finish up here with points. But we know Gaiman's going to come home at first, Leiter second, Fetterplace third, Homebrink, Oberstadt. Looks like Kruger's going to bring it home in 6, so she'll get some points. Right, LaJoy.
Riley. Yeah, sorry, Elrich George coming from the back here makes a last-second pass on Mike LaJoy, who was out of energy. So he's going to pick off 1 extra spot there in the 2.
Well, most of the points, Pat was still waiting on Bellevue to cross as he came down the pit lane there, maybe unscheduled.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. He pit coming to the white.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. I said like he was coming to avoid damage, but it's like it's a heat race. There's no real risk to stay out there. So very odd. Maybe he got slight damage from something. But yeah, he'll tow around. So Emma Kruger will get 6 there. Kevin Feemster will get nothing. So that's already a gain of points for Emma Kruger on Kevin Feemster.
Which is kind of interesting considering the fact that she got turned going into the last corner there. And you don't think they're fighting for points? They don't care one lick about the qualifying. They're going for those stage points.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
little bit of a Larry McReynolds McNugget for you here. Obviously, we say it time and time again, Carmen, over the years, and it tends to be true. If the first one's exciting, second one's usually a little calmer. You think that's going to be the case tonight, or you think with the points on the line, all that goes out the window?
well, a lot of the battling right now was in that first duel. Obviously, Bryn Roberts, Tommy Reynolds at the front of the field for this one. They're already locked in. They're marked in red. Brandon Proudfoot has to win his way in, but points at this point don't matter to him. He's so new to this, racing that number 22 machine. He just has to worry about being there at the end of this race, at the end of the Firecracker 200 later on. Ryan Pennell, points matter. Blake Henderson, part-time, not eligible for the playoffs at this point. Josh Garrison needs to win to be in. John Smeals, part-time. He's not relevant to the conversation as far as who's in and out of the playoffs. James Kerr must win to get in. Austin Mongold must win to get in. Winning this does not help them by any stretch of the imagination. So, that being said,
It's Pennell's field day.
It should be. It should be a lot easier of a duel, and there's a lot of presidential racing cars in this field to help Ryan Pennell out. So that could work out pretty well. It's a 6-lap race. It's Daytona, so obviously anything can happen. But in theory, following our ideology, following our stats here, this should be the calmer qualifying duel of the night.
We'll call it the Larry McWisdom.
Yeah, we've seen that weekend. Like we've seen it time and time again. One duel's exciting, the other one maybe a little more calmer, which is always not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
No. And if you like duels, we got more for you after tonight, tomorrow night.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
double helping.
Yeah, the HTL Cup Series begins qualifying for the Daytona 300 tomorrow, beginning. Really, it starts on ABN 2 at 7:30, then it pivots to ABN 1, this channel right here at 8 p.m.
Yeah, so 25 hours from now, we'll be right on this channel. It'll be me and Carmen bringing you the calls.
I'll be in the chat.
For sure. Be running around, getting autographs and eating good food in the infield.
Not a bad thing with that one.
Here they got a Wendy's down there now.
I wouldn't know, I've not been that far. But here we go. 12 cars in this heat. It's showtime. Bryn Roberts and Tommy Reynolds at the front of the field. We'll see some of these drivers tomorrow night. Tommy Reynolds being one of them. On that outside lane with a little bit of help from David Wright.
Proudfoot, Henderson, Pennell, a few more names we'll see at least throughout the season.
And all three of those teammates out behind Ben Roberts, Proudfoot, Henderson, Pennell.
Oh, Lurkin Tom, he's already locked in that number 14. Hard to miss him in that bright neon orangey, or not, excuse me, yellow-green car.
The highlighter car, yeah.
The highlighter, yeah. Oh, what a move there by the one of Roberts to hop up in front of that second lane. That little polar bear almost throwback looking car.
A little bit of an adjustment to his normal scheme.
Sponsored by Sheets, but it's really reminded me of the old junior car from Motegi in
That's
98.
what it was based off of, yeah, because that's what he was running for the period of time when he first came back.
Gotcha.
Scheme he runs in Champ Car as well.
Yeah. Right now, the inside lane, Tommy Reynolds leads the way over Brandon Proudfoot on the inside lane. Bryn Roberts still leading the outside lane with help from David Wright. Again, everyone marked in red is safe. You're worried about the likes of Ryan Pennell, Kevin Feenstra, Emma Kruger as David Wright drops backwards.
Yeah, I don't think that was planned. I
No,
think
it wasn't.
He got booted to the top there.
Yeah, he got left at the altar.
I'll tell you what, it's already, though, it's still more, it's calmer than it was in that first heat, as the 33 of Henderson now tries to go for the lead and gets it.
Yeah, all the presidential racing cars going to try to get in.
Oh, he got hooked into the inside
They're
line.
still wrecking.
12 of
Pennell is in it.
Yeah, and that's not good for him right now. 84 is still spinning.
he's
Ryan
still
Pennell
struggling.
trying to save it.
Yeah, he just about will, but I think he's got some significant damage to that car. He's going to drop out to 9th. Now it looks like will
10th.
drop now to 10th.
And maybe even 11th.
It will, yeah.
Far.
So-
Actually, looks like Garrison out in the pit lane. He'd probably be able to hang on the 10th.
As is Mongold, who
Yeah.
had just set the fastest lap that time around. So and this spreads things out a lot. Now it's a 5-car group. So again, the chasers on the bubble really running into issues here. Like we said, it was Pennell's race to lose points on. He didn't have many other rivals. He had a lot of teammates. It wasn't his fault. He just got clobbered on that inside lane. Nowhere for him to go. So now it's going to be Reynolds, Henderson, Proudfoot, Roberts, and Smeal, it looks like. 5 cars to settle it out here.
And again, you look at all the drivers that really can gain anything from this. None of them can gain points that just win and in. Henderson leading the way sort of just takes away the most of those possible bonus points. Tommy Reynolds, obviously, he's already in. He's going to have the most bonus points going into the playoffs here next week at Darlington. For Proudfoot and Smeal, again, none of this matters. So it's very calm at the front of the field. Just a matter of where they want to start on the outside lane. Devil's choice.
Yeah,
the one I just started to catch. I just want to say the one positive, at the very least, even if it's when you're in, is the very least starting up front does give you at least a better chance of winning.
Sure, but I'll challenge that, because on a track like Daytona or Talladega, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, true.
We've had plenty of winners come from way in the back to win, but you're right. I think it more so give you a chance to win. I'd want to start at the front because all the chaos is going to be behind me.
Yeah, it's different ideology you'll see from people that run super speedways. Some will start at the front, others want to ride in the back, but for some, they need the points. They don't have that option to run the back, as we'll start in the white flag lap here. And again, Tommy Reynolds, even though it's a Herculean task, winning this stage at the very least would at least give him a chance to maybe have a chance to run for that regular season title.
I almost wouldn't be surprised if they see them getting side by side behind. This is going to allow. Well, Reynolds is not going to stay behind Henderson. He's going to try and back up. So there is going to be a little bit of chicanery down the backstretch.
Remember, Reynolds and Smeal are teammates now. Reynolds jumping to Petron. That's going to get some assistance.
Henderson could not block that, but gets a nice shot from Bren Roberts. Looks like they're learning in the HTL camp about not blocking big runs. It's going to be side by side. I think it's going to be between these two unless somebody tries to go 3 wide and get selfish, but with Henderson getting loose.
Bad bump, coming to the line though. It's going to be Tommy Reynolds bringing it home. So Reynolds will win. Smeal, Henderson, Proudfoot, Roberts, your top 5.
Well done, son. Excellent job by Reynolds. Textbook move.
As Ryan Pennell will end up finishing 8th. So at the very least, some points brought in for his troubles as well.
Yeah, but not what he was hoping to get out of that. He's obviously, it's not the end of the world for him because he's already, he's a bit further in, is he not? So
yeah, he was the one sitting 14th in points. The issue is that he just lost points to both Feimster and Kruger.
And Kruger, yeah.
He didn't lose any points to Feimster because Feimster didn't score any points last heat.
Gotcha.
But did lose some to Kruger, who finished, I think, 6th after all the shenanigans. So not a lot, but that may not matter. It may be 1 point that makes the difference.
Yeah, it'll be 3 to 5. So a 2-point swing there. So 20 down to 18. So from Pennell to Kruger, it's now 18 points. And from Kruger to Feimster, it's 11.
I'll tell you what, that 7 car looks beautiful as well.
It really does.
Not sure if that's, I don't think it's a Henderson car because there's not a Henderson Graphics logo on the back, but.
It is not a Henderson car, nope.
Tip of the hat.
Yeah, Reynolds going to burn it down a little bit, maybe a bit premature. You don't usually burn it down during a dual race.
Well, I think he knows what's coming, and it's going to be a lot of chaos. I think he might as well get it in while he can. So,
Absolutely. For those that are just now tuning in, again, welcome to the regular season finale of the ARCS Darkside Mustangs A² Cup Series season. There's 3 voices in the booth for the first time all year long here for the series. I'm Carmen, Sienna. Alongside me, the 2022 ABN Open Wheel World Champion, Screen to Speed finalist, eNASCAR College Series driver Kristina Ryan, and
take
always,
a breath.
Yeah, I'm having to cut that list short. I'm having to cut that list extremely short here.
Save your breath, Carmen, because I can go through my accomplishments.
Indy 500 DNQ or DQ.
Not a DQ, finished 4th.
Yeah.
Has the lap record at Kentucky in the NASCAR World Series. But that's about it. Other than that, he's also got the second most amount of hours in this broadcast booth behind yours truly. But
so look,
it's a party.
A little humble brag.
We gotta keep Kevin's ego in check. It's like a helium balloon.
Yeah, we can't.
Look, I may not be the best when it comes to racing, but there's other things I'm good at, and gotta brag where I can.
Is that a euphemism for something? Like baseball. It's baseball.
He gets to compare himself to Christian Gomez when he's not in the ABN booth, so that helps out a decent amount.
There's a name we haven't heard in a while. I wonder what Gomez is up to. I hope he's doing good. I haven't talked to him in like
he's doing just fine. I hear way too much.
If he's listening, though, if he's listening, he is not gonna. You'll hear a knock on the door in about 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, hi, buddy. Glad to hear from you. But,
I'm not sorry.
That's coming from the crew fan over there.
Yeah, I got nothing to be. I don't watch. I watch ice hockey. It's a lot better than ground hockey, which is soccer or football. We're wrecking out of pit lane, by the way. Proudfoot and the 13 in warm up.
Wouldn't you just say field hockey's regular hockey?
I'd say field hockey's soccer.
Fair.
I'm not getting into the sports conversation.
Listen,
it's a party here.
I know you don't wear gloves. I know you don't wear gloves, but when you start punching each other in the face, let me know, because then soccer's a lot more watchable. But
agree to disagree. But anyway, time's winding down here in the practice. Drivers doing some last-minute warm-up here. We got looking at the chat here. We got someone representing the lighter crew here, hoping their driver can get the win here and lock themselves into the playoffs. Oh, big hook there on the six.
Yeah. Saw that outside of the booth. We're not obviously. There you see the remnants of it as Patrick Overstat slides on the left-hand side of the screen. That's the fun thing about having three of us in the booth. We got cameras, we got the feed on one end, and then we're looking out the booth, tapping each other on the shoulder. We're going to see some of that tonight, probably. There's going to be a lot of chaos and a lot of calamity, so... again, those red numbered cars are the drivers who are locked in. I think there's 3 spots up for grabs.
Correct,
and as far as points go, 6 or 7 drivers fighting for the points. But if somebody wins, that shakes things up a lot.
Well, technically, no, because if in the point there's only 3 drivers that are technically currently above the line that can change a spot. Only 1 driver, Briley Wright, could, in theory, point his way in, but would need a big task to do that. And with no stage points in the last stage, that makes that gap even higher and harder. So Briley is in a must-win situation. So no driver can point their way in. However, fight is on for who was trying to avoid being the last car in the standings, who could get bounced if a new winner does that.
The battle's more for 15th than it is for anything else.
Yes. It's the similar situation to what we saw last night. I was in the NASCAR Cup Series race here at Daytona. Similar situation. It's not about fighting to point your way in. It's about fighting to avoid being bumped out if someone else wins.
Yes.
It didn't happen last night. The surprising thing didn't happen, so we got a pretty predictable 16 there. Are we going to get a predictable 16 here? Time will tell.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's hope and pray that the roof flaps do their job tonight and we don't have something similar to what we saw for the 41 machine last night. That was...
Well,
I don't have a word to describe that one.
That was an old 80s, 90s NASCAR style crash if you're looking at one.
Yeah.
Something you'd see on the Adbox Cup Series side, not in modern day.
No, I'll tell you what, that's something you see back in the days. Some people might get this back in the NR 2003 days, the way that thing took off and rolled. Obviously talking about Ryan Preece's massive crash. Glad to hear he's okay, at least relatively. He was on Twitter last night, so... Makes us glad we're doing things in a video game, aren't we?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Less violent, less expensive, less a lot of things.
I don't know. We got a couple broken fingers and wrists over the years, though.
I mean, yeah, true. Anyway, though, that's it for warm-up, and we are going to get ready for 80 laps under the stars here in Daytona.
Stars in the sky and on the track.
Absolutely. Getting into it here. Donald Ray and Edward Marshall, they qualified on the front row in qualifying. They didn't have to go through any of the duels here. Row 2, pretty predictable. That's how they qualified. Josh Gaiman won his duel, so did Tommy Reynolds. That's how they started that duel, and that's how they'll stay. Matthew Leiter and John Smeal in row 3. John Smeal, part-time schedule, 1 on Friday in the ARCS Ignition Series. We got to watch that here on ABN on Friday night. Can he do it again and make it a perfect sweep of the weekend? Brandon Fetterplace and Blake Henderson, they'd like to get around him and make something happen. Henderson making his ARCS debut tonight ahead of probably the most important day of his life tomorrow. He'll be in row 4 in front of Jonathan Homebrink and Brandon Proudfoot. Proudfoot put on heroics trying to defend from Aiden Norman at Watkins Glen a week ago, but settled well short. Fuel strategy didn't work out in his favor. However, good practice for tomorrow night. He'll be trying to get his way to the front as well. His teammates all needing to get to the front here this evening. Steven Oberstadt, already a race winner, won at Talladega, won last season's season opener in the SNS series at Daytona. So he's got experience on how to win at all these plate tracks, regardless of if it's wide or if it's very the tall banks like Daytona. He'll be alongside Bryn Roberts, who can take it easy. He's already locked in row 6. Looking further down this order, 27 cars again in tonight's field. And obviously, as we look through this, drivers, Kevin, you're not much of a driver anymore, but take your picks. Who do you think is going to make it to the front of this race and be in victory lane at the end of the night?
I mean, I still occasionally drive in the officials, but and I'll be out there for Motegi and Champ Car. But if I have to throw a prediction out there, honestly, I don't know if anyone's really calling my name. It's such a crapshoot. You know what? I'm gonna throw a dart at the wall. Matthew Leiter. We'll say he gets the win and he bumps his way in.
The pace car. That's the only safe bet you can have, is that the pace car will lead the most laps tonight. But in all reality, I don't know. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's hard.
I think Blake Henderson's pretty fired up. I think he seems really strong. The non-commentator side of me, the fan in me, would love to see Emma Kruger get it done and not have to worry about the points knocking her out. She's had a really rough road to hoe in this series. She's been through a lot of adversity. It would be fitting if she could come out on top tonight, but I don't know. I think my bet's probably going to be on Henderson, which I know is a bit of a stretch, but he won the duel in HTL. He seems strong, almost won his heat. It's possible.
It is 100% possible. We're just going to find out where we're at here. Coming to the green flag. It's Ray. It's Edward Marshall, and away we go. First lap, squeaky clean so far. As you can see, we're pulling out all the stops side by side. On the right side of your screen, riding aboard with the driver 16th in points at the moment, Emma Kruger, sitting near the back of the field at the moment as it stands.
Edward Marshall jumping out of there in line. You can see his running on that onboard shot there, pulling out, not wanting to take a chance, who knows he's winning in, going to pull back and wait, go in the back here to survive to get to the end.
An interesting move, honestly, of somebody who has to win to be in. I can understand why. I don't know, Kevin. I've never been a fan of riding around at the back unless it was after a pit cycle or after some insanity just ensued. I feel like you just want to be up there and fight. The likelihood of a wreck at the very front is still there, but it's going to be better because 9 out of 10 times, especially in sim racing, even if you are at the back, you're still likely to get ran over.
True, and that's the point. People can sometimes tap brakes and whatnot, but I'm in the opposite camp here. I'm using someone that likes to ride in the back just because riding multiple laps in the inside lane or outside lane, 20, 30 laps, just kind of jockeying for position, one little twitch could end up sending you the wrong way. It's just something that's not for me. I'd rather wait and get my fill near the end in the last stage because this is stage racing, so I'd rather kind of just wait it out, make sure I get to the end here, and then let's see what we got into the end because you can't win it on the first lap, and if I'm going to win in a situation, if I junk the car before the end, it doesn't mean anything.
That's what's interesting about the dichotomy, because even you said stage racing, that's even more reason I'd want to be up at the front, but that's exactly the nature of plate racing. So many different approaches to it. I mean, I have a Daytona 500 under my belt. I'm kidding, but but hey, no, that's what works, because sometimes your strategy is the right one and sometimes mine's the right one. That's just how it works, and that's why we have so many different winners and so many different takes on it. That's what makes it so exciting to watch.
Yep, a few more cars there checking the back. You can see in the wide shot, that's Aiden Norman. He is pulling to the back. But I think, again, if you're a driver that needs stage points right now, I feel like you have to fight. If you're Emma Kruger, Kevin Feemster, Ryan Pennell, you have to get racy. You cannot cough up points when you need them the most. But if you're someone that's in a winning in, I may say, all right, let's take a breather here, because if I burn a fast repair on lap 10, I got to go 70 more laps to try to get this thing home, and I just don't like those odds.
That's fair. I can respect that 100%.
Wait, on lap 5.
I still disagree with you, though.
Yeah, agree to disagree. I don't think we're going to find common ground on that one. That's why we need Carmen to be the tiebreaker vote here.
That's the beauty of it, though, because you know what? Carmen would pick both at different times. So
absolutely, and I've had to be the crew chief for Kristina during some of those races. There's definitely there's a time and a place for all of it. Right now, we're obviously on lap 5. It's very interesting seeing the drivers that are willing to forgive the stage points and those that need the stage points right now. Those that feel like it's important to be in this mix at the moment. As we look through this field at the moment, Donald Ray leads, but then you look at the likes of Brandon Proudfoot, who doesn't really need to be up. There's a lot of drivers that could sit back for this first stage and kind of just let it unfold, but they want to be up there early. So it's a very interesting situation. Obviously, Ryan Pennell, this is important. He needs stage points. He lost out some in the qualifying duels, so he's going to need to get into those points now. Emma Kruger also in that range, but it's very interesting seeing that, because Feemster's not quite on that wavelength. Yep, and he's the man in the middle.
True. There's some drivers, like you said, in the top 10, like Proudfoot, Kerr, Smeal. He's running part-time. He wins. It doesn't matter. That don't need this. But in that regard, yeah, we'll have to see how it plays out, and just some love living for the danger. And with, they said, Ryan Pennell needing those points, only 4 above Kevin Feemster, 18 above Emma Kruger, who is the line. There's a risk and reward dichotomy, and right now, Pennell and Kruger working together, at least on that outside line.
You're going to see a little bit here in this battle for the lead.
2 distinct lines, nothing uncommon about that.
Ooh, James Kerr going low.
You can see just a little bit behind there. A second pack, that second group is forming of the drivers that were kind of just sitting back, letting all of this fade through. Stages are coming quickly, though. Again, this is 20 laps shorter than the 250 that opened the season earlier this year. So that shifts some things. And strategy calls going to be a little bit more important. These drivers, you know, it's obviously... It feels like a fresh scan, but these cars are still moving around a lot, especially with the buffering in the wind that we're going to be seeing tonight.
The cute thing about this too is you look at those drivers who are up front. Look at all those drivers that need to be up front and need to score points. They're all at the front. They don't have this luxury anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody at the back doesn't have as much to lose.
Again, we'll pull the side-by-side up again, brought to you by Admin Box. Great partner for us here at ABN. Get to see our regular season finale for the ABN Admin Box Cup Series on Wednesday at Richmond. But on the right side of your screen is the group from 19th to 27th. On the left side of your screen is the lead pack, being led currently by Tommy Reynolds. Actually, I think it's by Bryn Roberts now. I think Reynolds has shuffled back, but Bryn Roberts in the outside lane leading the group, and James Kerr on the inside lane. Another driver who has not won in a year and a half. Fontana, race 2 of last year. Had a great battle with Jeremy Breo for that win in California. Has not won a major series event in ARCS since. What a way to break that streak if it happens. It happened in HDL with Matt Smith. Doesn't happen tonight with James Kerr.
Daytona is very much a place where fairy tales and dreams do come true, so it is not impossible.
Yeah, we're not that far away from the land of the mouse, so fairy tales happen there, fairy tales happen here. But yeah, James Kerr leading the pack here in that, at least he is repping college tonight with an NC skate scheme, even though it is not loading up on the broadcast. But yeah, a little bit of an inside line breakaway here, 3-4 cars deep, outside line. Gonna have to get the momentum and charge away again. Looks like if that second pack not the one we're currently on the right side of the screen, a second one just a little bit far away from the first one here, is slowly getting back up and kind of trying to join the fray here.
Stage
Yeah, and you'll
one.
see that because they're side by side. Sorry, Carmen, but because they're side by side up front and they're nice and single file here, they're not off the pace. They've done this by design. So if they wanted to work together and shove each other back up to the front, they very well could. That's not the problem. There's nothing wrong with these cars. They're sitting around in the back. This is intentional, and it's part of the mindset of plate racing. You got the people who either need to race for these stage points or need to race at the front all day long, or just want to, versus these drivers who want to take the different attempt. What they're doing is they're waiting for a wreck. They want the big one to happen, take all these drivers in front of them out, and then they are safely through. That's the idea with this 19th through 27th.
Stage 1 ends at the end of lap 20. 10 laps to go in the stage, coming in 9 to go in the stage. Again, split screen, we're going to probably be relying on this a lot because strategies are stretching out quite a bit here between the drivers that are just sitting back and waiting and being patient, and those that want to go for every single point possible here tonight. For some, it's a baptism by fire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You got to march through the flames to try to get to the promised land. And someone will do that by the end of the night, but who will be that person?
On board with the side-by-side, now looking through the eyes of Brandon Proudfoot on the gyro cam there. This is what the drivers are seeing. And you can see it's a lot more. You think it's crazy looking from the looking from the booth, looking from the cameras. Look at how much these cars are dancing around. Look at how much you see that little orange tape right there? That's the steering wheel center point. Look how much that's moving around. These drivers are working all day long.
Yeah, they're working that thing to try to get it, and it's never really truly relaxed. People think it's easy to do this, especially in the old NASCAR games. It's easy to do it. Try to get in this sim, try to get in the front of it, and try to keep that car straight and planted. It's a bit more challenging than you would think, and to be good at it, it's even a bit harder. As we're riding still on board here with Brandon Proudfoot here, as he's in that inside line, just trying to help that inside line go a little bit faster here.
Yeah, that's the biggest shock if you're somebody who's new to iRacing. The first time you get on a plate track, your mind is blown. It's nothing like what you've played on video games or on, not even in NR. The way that the wind buffers these cars around, how much the ambient wind matters, how much the side draft is affected, tandems, when you get into somebody, when somebody gets into you, it is so intense. It shuffles everything around, and that's why these cars are moving around so much. It's the air pushing them around. It's the handling of these cars. There is so many moving parts to this. While it looks like they're just running around turning left all day long, I promise you it's not. And all it takes is a few minutes behind that onboard. You'll see how intense it is, and that's why they're all moving around like they are. And now we got a challenge for the lead.
Proudfoot wanted to go to the top line there, leaves James Kerr at the altar here. James Kerr going to get re-aligned with Feather Place, but the problem is that's going to give that outside line a few extra cars, and Henderson is going to still lead the charge on the high groove. And he, bearing the 22 going low, should lead this lap as this stage is coming close to its conclusion here. Car pulling way out there. Check up. That's Alfred George in the wall. He's going to get collected with Kevin Feemster. That is a bit of a problem, and that will be a caution. George gets the worth of it. Feemster looks like he avoided major calamity there, but for a driver on the cut line, that is not good to have some sort of damage here on the first caution of the night.
I'll tell you what, though, that could have been so much worse. I was surprised.
It's actually good because of that second pack that was trailing back was close. That would have been worse, but since they were at the tail end of this first major pack, there was nothing behind them. So luckily, everything avoided and everything gets through. Now, obviously, Alfred George not happy that he was the caution, but at the very least, every driver has one faster pair. They will, if they need to use it, they can burn it. But one more thing, note, this will not end the stage. We will have at least another restart here to end said stage. And now the question is, does anyone pit early to try preemptively beat the stage?
And here's the other thing about that too, is you have this situation where the drivers were heads up enough in that second pack, because that's the other risk you run, right? The second pack not paying any attention, they all clobber each other. They were smart. They were heads up. They knew what was going on. They got out of the way in time. But the other thing here, I don't think that 2 car is too banged up. I don't know that he'll need to waste his quick repair yet.
Nope. I don't think so either. Obviously, engine damage is quite a dangerous thing to play with. If you engine damage the front at least a little bit, and you're down horsepower, you can kiss any chance of staying the pack goodbye. As we do have a replay here, so we'll let Carmen. She's waiting for us to finish, so she can show us what happened.
Yeah. So right now we're looking at it as they come out of turn 4 here, and again, this is Edward Marshall, Elrich George, and everyone got checked up because of how James Kerr got left hanging out to dry there. And again, this is one of those incidents we see this a lot at Talladega, especially nowadays, and now we're seeing it here at Daytona, where it developed almost a half a lap beforehand, and it just finally caught up here. You're going to see the checkup, and again, teammates there in the 2 and the 12. Elrich George and Kevin Feemster for Presidential Racing. Obviously, not the intent to wreck your teammate there in that circumstance. But as we play this here, just a little bit of a checkup as everyone wiggles.
And it happens so fast.
Yeah.
And see here, Elrich does a nice job too to get it off the track down into the grass, which is smart on his part to make sure that there's less chances for him to get nailed if these cars behind him aren't paying attention. But you can also see how scattered everybody was. Everybody was heads up. You'd think that's common sense, but it is a luxury even in the real life races. We saw it in Xfinity this weekend. The second pack ended up wrecking harder than the first.
Yeah.
I'm looking on board here with Feemster as you kind of get his perspective, because it all happens so quick. And being at the back of this line, you are relying so much. As you can just see, we have a better perspective than the driver does, because we can see to the inside. We can see to the right of what's going on here. The driver can't. It's literally just what's in front of you. And yeah, just unfortunately gets on the wrong quarter panel there because of that checkup from the first bit of contact. And obviously not intentional. You run out of room to go, and you can't just. In that situation, sure, Feemster could have dumped out of the gas, but a lot of the times you've got somebody right up on your gearbox. If you lift, you're also going to get turned around. So it's like a double whammy.
You got to pick your poison. Do you think that it's sometimes, you hate to say it, but sometimes you got to throw someone to the fire to try to save yourself?
Well, you always will. Yeah.
So at that point, it's a regard that do I let off and possibly double whammy myself, or get checked my own way and save him, or do I dump him and keep myself going? So now, Kristina's favorite part of the broadcast is the choose cone.
Oh,
That's happening right now. Last time she was in the booth,
This is the first time I've gotten to hear about this since HTL's the first start HTL season last year. Yeah, because I wasn't here for Bocono when y'all got to deal with this last time. So
I'm just gonna be quiet and let you two talk. You know how I feel about the choose cone. I think everybody in the USA knows how I feel about the choose cone. So.
We'll kind of
go on. Let's go ahead and park on the front stretch. I'll be back. And we've wrecked. Patrick Oberstadt's been turned. This is why the choose cone's stupid.
Oh,
he goes sliding through the infield.
You know what, Kristina? I think you're a bit of a bad luck here. That happened also at Pocono too. So
it's almost like
that was the first time I tuned in at Pocono because I was away, and the first time I tuned in, I watched Reynolds.
It's almost like the choose cone does more drama than it helps. Imagine that!
I don't think the choose cone likes you, Kristina. It senses you're here and decides, all right, we're going to prove her point right.
Well, good, because I don't like it either.
Causing some chaos here. So
I wish it would stop calling me at 3 a.m. wanting me back. I don't want it back.
Yeah, choose cone happened. Bit of a checkup involved the
that starts with the 88 of LaJoy, who wasn't sure what lane he wanted to be in. Oberstadt checked up. There's some gamesmanship there that led to that, unfortunately.
Quintessential choose cone is all I'm gonna say.
And the thing that stinks is some of those cars, they need
Brandon
wins.
Proudfoot just dropped to the rear for a choose cone violation.
Oh.
So on top of the whammy of drivers now having a little bit of damage on that incident, Proudfoot will drop from the front of the field to the very tail. Ouch.
Just ouch. And especially with how little in the stage left, even though he wasn't fighting for stage points, that's just a kick in the teeth.
Like a fella once said, ain't that a kick in the head?
You know, my mama told me I can take the low road or I can take the high road, and if I got nothing nice to say, I'm just gonna say nothing at all. I'm gonna take the high road this time, for once.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, is it? Something beauty and chaos.
There's an adjective behind there, so I'll leave that one blank for everyone to fill in the space there. Henderson in better place. Henderson in better place leads us back to the green. 3 laps to go in stage 1.
Henderson instantly jumping down there. You can see Fetterplay's going to let off the gas, let him jump in here. Someone see in 2011. They're going to try to work together to stay to the front.
Yeah, it seems like every year we get closer to that 2011 tandem coming back in. We see it time and time again. I think we've got that nice little balance here. It's almost like 2012 where you had that pack racing, that heavy pack moment, but then the tandems do work. Tandems help. So here we are.
Kruger going to jump to the high side with team boss Tom Sears here. Line power have been a threat in the constructors. Currently leading the constructors. Good charge runs. There's Feather Place. A line power 1, 2, 3 on the outside line as they're going to be coming to the 2 to go. They're going to try to push each other towards the front.
Well, yeah, and Tom's going to help Emma as much as he can because, again, Tom's locked in. Emma is not. She's safe so long as nobody is a new winner doesn't win. But at a track like Daytona,
that's a good way to get dumped.
They're going to hook. They're going to hook.
Oh, and the wall lighter hard. It's also going to bring down Kruger and Sears.
Kruger, Sears, and that's going to be the stage.
That's going to end the stage here.
We'll see how the field froze.
They're still wrecking a bit back here. Both the line power cars stuck on the banking, so I think that's going to drop them out. So yeah, you could see that one coming.
You can just see because I saw it. Like, right, you saw Reynolds get pushed. Lighter went out a little bit. Lighter was thinking about he went too late. If he made it quick and decisive, maybe that doesn't happen. But he kind of pondered. I'm like, maybe. And then he went. And when he went, the outside line had so much momentum that they ended up setting him. It's
not the first time we've seen Lighter do this. Lighter has drawn a lot of ire from the field for decisions like that. We saw it at Atlanta. We saw it at the spring Talladega race. We saw it in the 250 at the beginning of the season. He, as far as plate tracks are concerned, he's a driver that drivers around this field, and especially those that have been around all season now, no longer want to work with. So when you make a move like that, you make yourself an enemy, and now he's going to lose a fast pair here at the end of stage 1. And traditionally, when you lose a fast pair this early, you're not finishing this race.
Well, not only that, but it also wiped out critically Emma Kruger's chances here. And it was just a block that went goofy. It's just bad block, bad push because of that situation. Looking at it now, there's nothing wrong with pulling out here to try and go for the lead. It's just what follows here is where it gets sketchy. That's a big hit too.
Oh, and it's not even so much that Kruger got much of that from Lighter. It's that her team boss.
Yeah, it was Sears who got clobbered on the way up.
Instead of checking up, just trying to slot through the middle.
And again, it's back to those, you make a choice. You have to make that choice.
Yeah.
And
that's unfortunate there.
You know, another big thing to note, notice those 2 boxes on the back of that 83 machine. Rookie. A lot of people always wonder, a lot of people when they come into a league or come into something in their first season, they go, man, I'm really good at plate racing. I don't know why these guys aren't helping me. No one's wanting to push me. Nobody wants to work with me. I've done this for years in other places. No one's giving me respect. Stuff like that's why yellow bumpers do that kind of thing. Rookies are not who you necessarily want to be with. And that's why it's pretty rare that rookies end up winning at Daytona and Talladega. It's not because they can't do it. See Trevor Bayne. It's just rare that anybody's going to want to work with you.
Absolutely. Tommy Reynolds won that battle off pit lane. Mostly fuel only stops here. And we're going to see that fuel's going to get you through the second stage. Then we'll possibly see green flag pit stops in the third stage. Is how the strategy is going to play out here.
Tires aren't going to be as much of a premium as they were in the race last night in real life, but they are going to matter, you two, because of course I know Carmen knows this very well. I'm sure you say you run a lot of the officials, so I'm sure you're familiar with this too, Kevin. Those left sides wear out faster than the right sides on plate tracks, and that may not seem like a lot, but the maneuverability of these cars in situations like what we saw, getting sideways, having to avoid crashes, getting pushed wrong, that only gets amplified exponentially rather, as you run out of tire grip. So it's not as important in the forefront, but it could be the make or break between you missing a wreck or causing one.
Yep. And you talk about maneuverability, that's so important. It's sort of why we see later in the runs why the outside lane gets so much better. That still translates. That still translates because the inside is obviously the quickest way around. The outside lane will become the most stable way around. So we'll see drivers move that way. It's just the issue is that when everyone moves up, it creates a log jam, and typically that's where we see more incidents sort of pile on from there.
Well, the other thing from that too is with side draft. Side draft is important, as I think they're doing the choose again. The other thing about this is that side drafting is important, and it's harder to side draft as aggressively on someone's inside as it is on the outside. Just the makeup of the setup and how the cars work. If you get on the outside of somebody, you are going to pull them back much, much more. So when you see them all run up on the wall like that, not only is it a situation where if you jump out of line and don't have help, you're going to go right to the back, but it's a lot harder to side draft your way and pull somebody on that outside lane back. It's just the nature of the car. It's hard to explain in detail unless we wanted to sit here for an hour or get all Emily Howe in here. But just in essence, if you're on the outside lane, you're going to have a lot better time. That's why the outside line tends to move so aggressively, so quickly, and generate all those runs when they start side drafting, because it's a more aggressive side draft on the outside. That's why they run the top, to protect that right side of the car.
So, 25 lap stage. Stage 1 ended early. We'll see where everyone slots in here. 27 cars started this race, all 27 still in it.
Yep, right now, for the Emma Kruger fans home, she is currently 27th out of 27th right now. And for some drivers, they've lost their faster pair, so that's going to change game plan for Emma Kruger. She sat in pit lane a long time there. I didn't think she towed, so she's trying to fix it up here, so maybe she still has it in the back pocket at the very least. But
she did not tow.
Yep, so she sat in pit lane and fixed the car without burning at the repair, so she may not have the performance, but she at least, if it gets worse, her race ain't over quite yet.
And that's the smart move. You don't want to burn, even if you're, a couple horsepower down, or you're not going to have a race-winning car right now. You don't want to burn that now, because we've already seen a big wreck already. We saw 2 big wrecks in the heats with only 13 cars. It's not worth it yet.
Absolutely not worth it. As we start stage 2, I'm Carmen Sienna, alongside me, Kristina, Ryan, and Kevin Young. To kick off stage 2, it's Reynolds and Roberts at the front of the field. We're underway. And you saw most of the field chose the inside lane for this restart. They know where they want to be. They've seen the chaos enough already in that first stage. Now it's time to get serious.
Yeah, and you can see that strength in numbers, although a lot of them are jumping up to the top now. A lot of them that made that pit stop, they just went to the end of the longest line, because a lot of cars came in on that last lap, either to fix damage or what have you. But now you can see 20 or so cars on the bottom, only about 10, 6, 7 on the top. So we'll see what kind of energy they can run there. Remember what we just talked about, that side draft and the tandems. See how it works.
Right now, it's going to be Reynolds and Henderson and Gaiman. We'll see all 3 of them on Monday, tomorrow night. Kevin Feemster, we'll see him tomorrow night. He was involved in the first accident with our Rich George. He's leading that outside line right now, and they're making moves happen right now. That is, I believe that's Feemster with help from Robertson, I believe Ryan Pinnell. So teammates working up there, first and third in the outside lane.
Yep,
I respect that.
Yep, looking at that top 10 right now, though, just kind of looking at the guys and gals, even though technically no gals currently in that top 10, in that point, looking at the thing, some of those drivers are in must wins, but like Blake Henderson, if he wins, he's a part-timer. It don't count for nothing. So you're looking at that point right now. Some of those drivers would be beneficial for someone on the bubble to win, but right now, look at the top 2. If you're on the cut line, you don't actually, even Emma Kruger, let's say use her as an example, wouldn't care if Feemster or Roberts won, because she wouldn't get deplaced by either.
Yeah, it's just like, it's one of those rare situations where you're a fan as much as you are a driver, because if you can't win the race, obviously that's the goal, right? You want to go out and win, because then you don't got to worry about it. But if you can't win, you want somebody who's not going to screw you up to win too. That's why Bubba Wallace was so excited last night when Buescher won, because he already had wins, didn't displace Bubba from the championship. That's why he made the chase. So it's a similar situation here for Kruger. Maybe she can't win tonight, but it doesn't mean that she's out. She just needs somebody who isn't going to lock themselves in to win.
Yeah, but they had 3 cars on the example that could displace her right now on that outside line. You can see the 50 of Donald Ray, the 20 of Homebrink, and the 75 of James Kerr. All could play spoilers. If that's the case, Brunel going to go low with Roberts, and 2 presidential cars going to be on the inside with a 3rd one on the outside groove.
Yeah, they're trying to coordinate this and get it all put together. Here's we're on board with Jonathan Homebrink, the Interstate Batteries machine behind Donald Ray. that inside lane. Now it's got some team members in it. Almost all the Presidential Racing is on that inside lane now. They've gotten that lane hooked up as much as they can. Obviously, a couple people intermittently on that inside lane between Presidential Racing cars. But that is a team line right now that is trying to go places, and it is, I believe, Donna Ray's leading this outside lane now and has no help.
Yeah, it's sinking quite fast here like a stone at the bottom of the ocean. No assistance, no nothing. Everyone's kind of lined on the inside here. And you'll probably see a little bit more. A few drivers like to jump out here. Maybe an Alfred's George. But right now with no assistance, no real momentum going forward, there's no real risk for the top 5 to pull out because you just give up your spot in line for a more riskier outside venture that may eventually crash. But it looks like Brent Roberts may have got displaced here as he's now going to fall to the back and try to be that supporter that outside line needs as Pinnell leads the way with Themster in tow. The 2 cut drivers right now, 1-2.
Right now you're looking, again, we're using the split screen because they're once again 2 distinctly split packs. Again, the second pack, we saw this in stage 1, the group that's trying to get away from all the chaos. That's on the right side of your screen. Left side of your screen is the leaders right now. Ryan Pinnell leads over Themster, Reynolds, and Henderson.
Yeah, and you notice a lot of the cars that are in this pack are cars that were involved in that most recent bout of crashes. So they either don't have a faster pair to burn, or they, maybe have damage that's not keeping them in that lead pack, or they just don't want to be in the pack right now.
Yeah. It's a risky proposal, but I think, they saw what just happened with 2 cautions. The first one, for some in that pack, like David Wright, has a win. Doesn't have to worry about it. Tommy Withers as well has a win. But Stefan Oberstadt also has a win, but few like Austin Mongol, Briley Wright, Noah Bellevue, actually I think he's part-time, but in those 2 examples, they need wins, so it's better maybe just to kind of live to fight another day here. Right
now, Kristina, you've been in this position a decent amount both times. You've been in this lead pack, but you've also had to kind of sit and bide your time and wait. How frustrating is it if you're in Tom Sears' position right now to have to sit and wait, especially we're not even halfway yet. How frustrating is it to have to sit in this position and just kind of wait and hope that things go the way you're hoping it does?
I mean, I don't know. It kind of depends, because if you have a plan B and you have a game plan, you're re-energized, it's different, right? If you are frustrated or you have damage or something and you just have no options and you're just back here not by plan, but just because that's what's happened, it is the most frustrating feeling in the world. It is a situation where it's more about your mindset than anything, because if you've got a plan, it's not so bad. If you've got teammates and you're going, okay, we're trying to save fuel right now so we can go longer and make this up, then it's not so bad. But if you don't have a plan, your morals are shot, your mood's down, you're mad at half the field's mad at you, you don't even want to be there. It is everything in your power to not just bring it behind the wall and go home. But you can't. So, got to push on. Dig deep.
Got to fight for adversity.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? How many times have we seen somebody in this position? How many times have we been in this position where we're riding around in the back like this and end up winning the race?
Yeah,
that's why you don't give up on a track like Daytona or Talladega.
Yeah.
So 29 of Belleville in that second pack has been blinking a bit. I think he just got pulled that and is going to end up being the caboose here.
Yeah.
Just try to not make any problems worse for this second pack. As you can see the difference in the dichotomy. They're racing for positions on the left-hand side, and they're all just cruising in the back. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is some strategy going on, Carmen, Kevin. They're trying to save a little bit of fuel here. We heard Tom Sears lifting a lot. So there is some benefit to this. It's not just I'm waiting for a crash. There's a lot going on to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a very interesting sort of dichotomy. David Wright leading this inside line. A lot of the drivers already with race wins in this line. David Wright, Tommy Withers, Steven Oberstadt, Aiden Norman, and Tom Sears. They're already locked into this situation. Obviously intermingled in that. Patrick Oberstadt, who's a part-time driver. You have Austin Mongold, who needs a win if he wants to realistically have a chance at the playoffs. He just joined for Watkins Glen last week, so he's only had 2 opportunities to really try to go after this race win. Riley Wright had a huge amount of trouble. Same with Emma Kruger. So that helps Kruger out a little bit. She's losing a couple points to Briley Wright right now, but they're both so far detached from the stage points at the moment. Briley can't gain on her in the points, and he's the only one that could.
Yeah, and that's probably why we're not seeing so much agitated driving from Kruger. It's probably another reason why we also saw her in the pit lane. You know, she's got that faster pair in her back pocket. She can live like this until that last pit stop. Because remember, even if, you know, if it's not going to go green to the end because we have another stage break, but if we have that stage break, she gets that car fixed a little more. Maybe she's not at 100%, but if we get to that last round of green flag pit stops, it's very quick to get that faster pair. It's an element that really, you can have that. It's like a superpower, really, in your back pocket. She could suddenly gain 20 horsepower and be up there at the end just by hanging on to a damaged car and being able to drive with it. And that's part of being good at plate racing. It sounds stupid, but knowing how to manage damage and how to drive with a car that maybe needs to sit behind somebody and knowing when to manage those temperament and not burn through your faster pairs. It is your best friend.
Yeah.
It's your bailout. That's why it's a faster pair.
It's risk assessment. When do you want to burn it? If you can, or if you don't think you need to, try to feel it out.
Absolutely. It is. A lot of people want to use it to stay at the front all day, but I mean, we think back, Champ Car at Iowa. I had a chance to use it. I didn't want to, just in case. And, you know, sometimes you don't even need it. So.
And I think you described that car best as a shopping cart with broken wheels.
Oh, yeah, it was. It had the squeaky wheel and everything, but it still got me to victory lane. And eventually that mindset's what got me a championship, just being able to survive through a lot of the calamity and a lot of the melee. And being able to drive wounded cars. I would have had a lot more DNFs if I had given up on the race car and put a quick repair on right away. So
we're going to interject here a little bit because we were kind of noticing in our screen, this second group's beginning to gain again a little bit. Obviously, a huge gap. There's a 4.6 second gap here. With 6 to go in the stage, though, it seems like they're starting to kind of make the way forward here. I don't know if it's too little too late, but I just started noticing that they were crawling forward on the monitor here.
They're making small inroads, but it's not enough with the remaining laps of the stage break coming so soon.
Yeah.
They do get there. Like now, they're starting to lose time again. They're falling back down. So
that's a fair point.
Looks like it may have been a checkup. Maybe they got a little racy there, but with that first pack now really getting lined up here, even if they were making inroads,
you can see the gaps open up there now again. Now it's even 5 seconds between Proudfoot and Overstaff.
I'll raise one question.
The illusion was like, oh, maybe they're gaining something.
Well, it ebbs and flows, right? So when somebody, you know, especially with a big pack like this on the left-hand side, when somebody checks up, it is an accordion in that pack, right? So somebody at the very tail end of the pack, they will gain a little bit of time as the leaders ebb and flow in the front. What I'm wondering here, you know...
Donald ran the wall. Donald right in the wall there. Got a bad bump. Clipped the wall a little there. It looks like he'll be okay here, but
good save.
Checked up that whole outside line there.
And that's going to gain them a little bit of time for sure. My point here, though, I'm wondering, these cars that are saving fuel here, 1626, they can take less fuel on this pit stop. They might throw themselves ahead when they get into the pits because they don't have to sit there stationary as long.
Yeah.
And that gap gets neutralized under the caution, obviously, so...
I'll throw out one more question. I was looking at the mini-map on my own perspective here. Will this pack be able to catch Matthew Leiter here? Leiter's crossing the start-finish line now.
That's a good point. They shouldn't. I would not imagine.
I think he'll be okay, but at the same point, he had a bad restart off the line, and he's been basically out of the pack this whole second stage. Must win your win driver, so it doesn't matter if he gets stage points. But
the one thing...
and taking the lucky dog is not a smart choice either.
The one thing he's got going for him is, as you said, if he does go lap down, he'd be the only car 1 lap down, so he would get the lucky dog. So obviously he'd have to restart at the back of the pack, but he's probably gonna have to do that anyway because he can't save fuel like anybody else up here is because he's all by himself. So
yeah,
net 0 if he gets lapped here, as long as...
The only thing, though, I worry about is if he gets like a cog in the machine. We saw it at ABN Talladega.
Well, we saw it when he was leading.
Yeah. Be a bit of a cog in a machine situation where the 2 lines... Yeah, if there are 2 lines going fast and hard, where does Matthew Leiter fall into this equation? Will he end up being the square peg going in the round hole, or will he just jump down the apron and try to save everything?
Well, he's already once gained some ire, so you know, that's kind of where you weigh that.
And just worth noting, he's also burned his faster pair, so if he does get an accident, it's curtains for the 83.
Also, going to kind of interject. I said this right in one area, didn't say it right in a few minutes ago. It's 45 the end of stage 2, not 40. So they are 100% going to get him. Yeah. They're going to get him before lap 40 anyway, because he's right there. They're going to get him on 40.
Yeah, I think the situation here is going to be... Yeah, he'll get the lucky dog. There's not another car that's off the pace. Austin Mongold is 26th at the tail end. I think he just lost that.
No, he's still on the group. He's 3/10 behind David Wright.
Yeah, he's just trailing off quite a bit, though. He's hanging way back. So, yeah.
Hold up a minute. Outside line scaring. Ray in the wall. They'll get it around him, but that was scurry, and the people are giving some iron lighter.
I mean, there's nowhere for lighter to go in this situation. They caught him mid-corner.
It doesn't matter, though. They're going to yell at him.
They're going to yell at him regardless.
Yeah, I know they're going to yell at him because he's not made any friends, but, like, that's one that it's like, he did the right thing by picking the lane that nobody was in. It's just unfortunate that you can't really make three wide completely fit here at Daytona. You just have to hold your breath and hope.
They just want, like, at that point, the scream to just get on the apron, get out of the way, get off the track. That's the scream they're throwing at him right there.
But you know what? In the middle of the corner, how many times have we seen that? And then the lap car comes flying back up, and then you're the idiot anyway. So, like, what do? You know?
Yeah.
I think everybody's mad at Leiter just to be mad at Leiter, which they should be frustrated. He did cause a huge crash there at the end of the stage, but, like, we've seen stupider.
Oh, yeah, no, we've seen stupider. We've seen stupider in real life.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Regardless, as we're on lap 40 here, we're going to hit 5 to go. Next time by Reynolds leading the outside train. There's a little bit of a bad bump there by the 75. He'll keep it straight. Looks like the 29's still getting some bad blanks here. Smeal going to go low. The B-Tron Racing Machines. 1, 2, 3. LaJoy going to look great.
There they go.
Manel involved as well. That's multiple cars. Leiter involved as well. That may be curtains for the 83.
And it appears that they're wrecking now under caution. They've wrecked in the second pack. The 23 just got hooked.
Oh.
Tommy Withers, for what, boys? What were we doing there?
Yeah, Tommy Withers is stationary on the hump. Looks like it may have been a check down situation, the 23 situation.
Yeah, they were checking up for the caution that was already out. And who is this, the 38?
Yep.
Steven Overstack just hooks him there.
Just hook him out.
Yeah, hooked him.
Because the wreck was already out of turn 4 there. Yeah,
looks like both here, but yeah.
That's interesting.
This is how the caution comes out, and obviously you see as we pivot to it, it's already started. And it starts well ahead of Leiter. It starts, I believe, if it starts the way I think it does, I believe it starts with Mike LaJoy, and I believe Mike LaJoy's in this.
Quick word from Race Control as well. This will not be the stage either. So
I believe there's going to be one to go. We're going to have a one-lap shootout for the stage, it looks like. The driver's bobbing back and forth here. Smeal moves to the inside lane.
B-Tron was trying to link up, and then you're going to see it with LaJoy
Donald
and
Ray and Mike LaJoy. They just get together. Mike LaJoy, it seems like he was struggling there. He took fuel only on that first stop.
Yeah, but a lot of them did.
And they always have it saved, and then one presidential machine takes out the other, and then Feemster's involved as well, and then LaJoy. I mean,
that's Leiter's Day done, probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's 100% Leiter's Day done. Yeah, his chances are
killed
done.
At least.
That's
obviously
in slow
will not
motion.
get the lucky dog either because was involved in the crash. Now here's the 23 car. Now, yeah, this is not really checking up for the crash yet because the crash is quite a far ways ahead. They're checking up for the yellow, which is now out. And then
yeah, we're waiting for this to kind of all come through because we're running in slow motion here.
Caution's out at this point.
It happens quick, yeah.
Yeah, the 23 slows down quite a lot in fairness, but still.
Almost clipped. Who was that? Was that Belleville? That was Belleville that he almost got clipped.
Almost clobbers Sears and Kruger again, too.
Which,
would have been... I mean, I think Kruger would have lit the world on fire if she got caught up in that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite sure about that, but you know what? We're not in the race car. So sometimes it looks silly from the booth, and the 23 did slow down quite a lot. So I think the argument's going to be, why are we slamming the brakes under yellow? Probably word for word what the response to that was, but also, I don't know.
Yeah, and that doesn't help. That doesn't help because Overstat's really good at these plate tracks, so he's going to kind of understand a thing or two here. It's sort of him and his brother Patrick. That is typically their forte, is plate racing. And now both of them have found trouble one way or another early on in this race. We just crossed the halfway point.
Yeah, and that's one of those deals where, like, it's not the dumbest thing we've seen tonight, but it's not really a dumb thing necessarily. It's just a misjudgment. But this is one of those situations where the drivers are going to not forget that. The drivers will remember that later in the race, and that could be,
And so we're seeing an
Not the
interesting-
best deal.
We're entering an interesting situation here because obviously there's a bunch of drivers that came down pit lane. The top 9 stayed out.
Yes.
So that is the gamble for stage points that some of these drivers are taking. Again, if you're looking at the likes of Reynolds, Tommy Reynolds is battling for the regular season championship. Entered tonight 41 points behind Brandon Fetter place. Both of them stayed out.
Yep, right now, I'll let you know an update on that situation. Right now, it's Fetter place 36 ahead of Reynolds, and knowing that with the cars remaining in the field, even though I think Leiter may have taken behind the wall, but the max points going in tonight was about a 30-point swing from 1st to 27th. If you're above 30 points going into the end of stage 2, that's any chance of you getting it done. So Reynolds would have to get a net gain of 6 on Fetter place here, stage 2.
He's got a net gain right now of 5, and we'll see how that tracks.
If that tracks positively, he'd still have a chance, but you need a miracle either way. You need Feather Place to get nothing here to give himself a better chance.
I want to quickly point out a lot of the cars that were in that back pack that didn't get caught up in that wreck in the backhand, or I guess anybody who wasn't the 23 car. You got Steven Overstat in the top 10 now, Pinnell, Kruger. So
Marshall,
Yeah, so a lot of people that were in that back, that's what they wanted to have happen, and it worked out for them. But now they got to capitalize.
For Kruger, because Kruger's in the top 10 here, whereas Kevin Feemster's not. And right now, Ryan Pinnell's currently in 10th. So she's going to potentially, if things stay as they are, she could get on both of them coming to what will be 2 to go in stage 2.
Yeah, but remember, she was up in the 3rd or 4th place coming to the white, or the next to last lap in stage 1 and got wrecked. So
it's a gamble.
It's like this now, but it's going to be shuffled. I guarantee you every position here, and the top 10 is going to be maybe the same drivers, but different positions by the end of the stage here. So we'll see. That's all you can do is wait and see.
Well, we're going to find out how this stage ends. First one ended in 2 hours early by a lap. How does this one end in stage 2? Coming to lap 44 of 45 to end stage 2. It's Reynolds and Kerr at the front of the field. We're back underway here in Daytona.
You know, those Beatron racing machines are going to stay linked for all they can for this stage.
Yeah, I'd be a little surprised to see mutiny on that end.
Line Power is trying to stay on the outside lane, but there's nothing going for it. Kerr has nothing at the moment.
Marshall going to jump high to try to help, but
this is the investment you make. You're hoping that run generates
at the right times.
Yeah, which it could. They have enough cars up there to make it work.
You'll have 1 lap next time by to try to get it done.
Remember, stage break can't end early, even when we cross the line to take the green and white flag.
Mm-hmm. They stay racy on that second groove. They're not going to make it up towards anywhere to the front.
No, they had to try to shuffle that. Oh, they're going to wreck.
Got wobbly. That was Fetter Place. They got all out of shape with assistance from, I believe, that was James Kerr.
Mm-hmm. And Kruger's in the wall. Yeah. So that's her stage done.
Yeah, she will not get any points. Pinnell in 6th right now. Feemster outside the top 10 too. So at least the positive is Feemster's also not getting nothing.
Yeah,
so
but
who's
Pinnell
stepping
is
out of line? Oof, let's head into the run.
George got hooked. George got hooked.
Oh, huge.
And I think Feemster was involved, and Feemster is pissed on the radio.
Yeah, he was livid in that 21 machine.
Apologies for the language, but that is going to end the stage.
Yeah, stage completed. It's going to be Reynolds, Gaiman, Smeal, Henderson, Steven Overstat, Ryan Pinnell, David Wright, Patrick Overstat, Edward Marshall, and Brandon Fetter Place.
And now Reynolds out in the regular season championship hunt. Bonus points in the line going into the playoffs. Reynolds wanting as many bonus points as possible going into round 1 next week. 10-1, the flipping odds there. So you've said that the gap was 36 after stage 1. It's now 27.
Some hard licks tonight too. A lot of debris down in turn 3 after that crash. And it is again, both times tonight now, we have failed to finish the stage under green.
Okay.
So we're going to see what happens here.
Doing some quick calculations here. I can confirm one thing right now. A, Riley Wright is no longer in a situation we can clinch his way in, but first I'll go through that as we're doing the replay here.
Oh, Feimster just got shot to the inside there. Feimster didn't get a bad lick there. He just got pushed.
Yeah, we'll have to see if there's any damage on that car, though. There's a pretty hard impact. It can do some damage to that splitter. It's not going to be terminal, but there could be some optionals there.
I'm not seeing
with
any
that
damage
impact
on that.
It could be. It's more of an internal thing if there is any. But
because of the transition. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, exactly. It was a very aggressive, but I don't think that's going to be too bad if there is any. It's very likely that it's fine.
Yeah, we're going to go to our chopper cam for the first time and kind of get an idea as to how this started.
Yeah, one thing's for sure, he's better off than a couple of these cars here.
So this is Edward Marshall. I think he's going to try to go 3 wide here on Bren Roberts. Yeah, he does, and that gap's just never completely there. Hooks Bren Roberts.
Yeah.
Obviously, Feimster
innocent
gets
bystander.
And that almost completely ends Elvis George's day, who takes a hard 90-degree turn.
And then
Kerr tries shooting the gap there.
Did Sears sneak through there? Just gets into the back of Feather Place a little bit.
Yeah, the worst damage you got was the Feather Place tap.
Gosh, look at the parts and pieces flying off of those machines.
Yeah, that's Bren Roberts there. They got a huge piece of it as well. Kerr got a piece of it, tried to squeak his way through, tried to play brave, and couldn't make it work.
Yeah, Elrich George had nothing to do with that either, and just got clobbered.
And I feel bad for him because that's the second time he's been clobbered for no reason. And the second time it's hurt his teammate in Feimster.
Yeah, it's plate racing, baby. It's just when it's not your day, it is not your day.
When the Lady Luck doesn't shine on you, it doesn't shine on you. Back to live action, I do want to give the update back to what I was trying to say before the caution came there. First thing, Bradley Wright is no longer in contention with neither stage points he got in either one. He now is in a must-win situation if he wants to make the playoffs. So no driver from 17th on back can jump their way up. Second thing, with the 5 points Ryan Pinnell got at the end of that stage, he is now 30 clear of Emma Kruger, meaning that Ryan Pinnell has locked himself into the playoffs. So Ryan Pinnell will not have to worry about getting bounced unless he gets a penalty or something for points. But if everything holds and he gets no penalty points, he will be joining the playoff fray and for the fight of the championship.
Which means it is now Kruger v. everyone.
It's Kruger versus Feimster versus everybody.
Because the gap,
that's true.
The gap between Feimster and Kruger is 11 points. So that's still all to play for there. If a new winner does happen between Feimster and Kruger, they will be fighting. So either right now, Feimster, Kruger in, Feimster and a new winner in, Kruger, new winner in. Those are the 3 combinations we can see.
Don't you just love to hate points racing? You know the easiest way to settle the score? You know the easiest way to not worry about it is go up and win.
Yeah.
That's a lot easier said than done. That is so much.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll leave it to the Daytona 500 winner to say that.
Just get good.
leave it to
you know
Avians.
what? There is something to that, though, because the energy that you carry with your mentality and the way that if you are driving confident, people notice that and they're going to work with you.
Yeah.
So
I hate saying this, but Chase Elliott was right. In order to be the person, you've got to show it. You've got to have that confidence. You're going to have to ooze that a little bit. 100% he was correct on that, and it matters here too. You have to show yourself as being reliable, dependable, and really a field general in this situation. We're going to see who's got that here in Stage 3. There will be, if things stay green, there will be green flag pit stops in this stage with how things are set up. We'll see if we get to that point. David Wright and Patrick Oberstadt lead the way. Oberstadt finished second on Friday.
You think it was already spicy?
If Patrick Oberstadt does win, I'm just going to go do a quick run here. Patrick Oberstadt wins. He would lock himself in as full-time driver. Other drivers in that top 10 that would do that, Briley Wright, James Kerr would be the only other 2 in the top 10 that could win this race and lock themselves to the playoffs, as Smeal and Bellevue, I believe. Actually, Bellevue's full-time too, so he would count too. Smeal is part-time, he would not.
Belleville replaced Toby Estes, because Toby Estes had to step away due to personal issues. We hope everything goes well with Toby there. We saw him on Friday night. He had a fun time there. Let's see if Belleville, on his return to the Cup Series, can get a win in that number 29 machine. But it's David Wright and Patrick Oberstadt leading the field to green. Brandon Proudfoot and Steven Oberstadt in row 2. Here we go. And to kind of point things out, if Patrick and Steven Oberstadt can both get into the playoffs, Steven's already in, they'll be the first sibling combo to be in the playoffs at the same time. Just kind of throwing that one out there. That's what they're playing for here.
It's a cool little stat. Of course, we've Daytona, no stranger to the brotherly shove, as they've called it.
No relation with Austin, Ryan Pinnell, so that wouldn't count.
Yeah. But remember, old Brad Keselowski pushed his brother Brian into the Daytona 500 in 2012.
And Brian spotted for Brian spotted for Brad, I think, last year. This sometime.
Overstack got clear of David Wright and moved to the inside lane. So it's Overstack leading both the inside and the outside lane, and both of them have a lot of finesse and talent at this type of racing. They love and thrive on chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how Stefan won his race at Talladega. He survived the chaos and was able to take it home in the B-Tron machine. So he lives off chaos, he survives off chaos, and he loves the chaos. He shows it off.
I've been finally getting a chance to say this on an ABM broadcast. It's the Overstat show out front with Tommy, or with Steven and Patrick. Tommy Reynolds trying to change it up, though.
You missed the Friday because it was the Patrick and Patrick show at the end of the ignition race. So we had a little bit of fun with that already. But brothers leading the lines. Steven leads that lap.
You're asking me who's going to win this race? I should have said Overstat. And I should have never clarified.
Yeah, no, you would have had it. It's like right, and like you could have said right as well. You would have the same odds.
Especially if you say it like when there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
The series. Look at this. The prediction would be a lot better if we ever find a series with octuplets.
I'm not doing Steiner math. Not on this broadcast. Nope, not doing it. Steven Overstat, Willie B-Tron, all in the outside lane. Overstat, Reynolds, Gaiman, and Smeal all in that outside lane, I believe. That's Josh Garrison, Prophecy Motorsports number 18, the first driver really outside of that. And he's like, you know what? This group was 1, 2, 4, and 5 at the 500 in February. I'm going to stay in here.
And it should be worth noting as well, the car that is now on part of B-Tron was also in that pack too. Currently the 7 of Reynolds, who's now with B-Tron. So that whole pack was all B-Tron, even though technically one wasn't B-Tron until now. So
it was foreboding. If you weren't, if you weren't already there, you're going to be.
It's the Stuart Haas effect almost on these plate tracks.
Absolutely. And also Emma Kruger, keep an eye on that 70, up in the top 5 now, and now clear of the field.
Yeah, she needs to get more points right now than Feemster. She's now, maybe she doesn't know the goal
right
yet.
Now it's easier. It's a lot easier to do that.
Yeah. She now knows the plan. She knows Ryan Pinnell catching him is now gone. So it's now if a new winner happens, she needs to get more points than Kevin Feemster and jump him just in case. So right now she's doing what she needs to do. But with green flags still on the horizon for pit stops for those, anything can be changed.
Yeah, and Feemster's 17th right now. So she's actually if it stays like this, she may have enough points to actually clear if she gets a couple more spots. So it's not impossible.
I know it's very odd to say this, but right now B-Tron Racing is her best friend because all of the drivers on that team that are eligible to win, that would be eligible in the playoffs, are already in. John Smith is a part-time driver, so if he wins, it doesn't matter. That just takes bonus points away. But right now, she's in the safest spot right now. She's top 5, and the 3 drivers at front already have wins.
And Tom Sears, we call him Lurkin' Tom for a reason. He's been wanting to sit at the back for most of the night. He also burned his fast repair in that crash. So his game plan is to try to stay at the back. He can't really help her anymore.
Well, there's 2 different strategies here because Emma also had to use a fast repair.
Yeah.
So 2 different mindsets.
Yeah. So the thing here is just, but she doesn't have the luxury to sit back now. She 100%
doesn't.
She is honorary B-Tron team right now. If she sticks with this team for the rest of the race, she might be in a better position.
Right now, she is their number 1 fan.
Yeah.
Only down
and they don't mind. They don't mind. It's not like Emma's a wreck magnet, so she's just vibing. They're all vibing. It's a
obviously she'd like to win, but you gotta play the field here. But
keep an eye on the inside lane, though. It's about to get a little bit spicy. Noah Belleville just moved to the front of that line. We'll
but he's been having latency issues too.
He's been having latency issues, but he's traditionally really good. And he's a driver that if he gets into the playoffs with a race win, that's a big problem for a lot of drivers in this playoffs. Because him and Noah Belleville, him and Aiden Norman are tearing things up. They are the 2 hottest stars in ARCS right now. If both of them get into the playoffs, at the last moment, the dying embers of the regular season, that is going to spell a lot of problems for drivers that we've been saying are favorites all year long.
Oh no, 100%.
That makes him public enemy number one. Nobody wants him to win. Not because they don't like him. They just really don't want to have to deal with him.
Don't want the status quo to change too often much. Don't shake the palm tree.
Because you may not like the fruit that falls.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I'm glad someone got that reference. Thank
And
God.
I know 26 drivers who really don't want to see that 29 in victory lane tonight.
Probably closer to
And one of
24.
Well, you know, one of them's Aiden Norman too. Because why would you? I mean, your chances are a lot better if you don't have to deal with him. So
But I think there's sometimes there's that part in the back of Aiden Norman of a driver's mind that they don't want it, but there's a part in the back of the mind like, you know what, bring it on. I want the challenge.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
You want it to be the easiest road as possible.
You want to beat the man, you got to beat the man, or beat the woman, or beat the whoever in that situation.
I don't care what it is.
You got to do it. You
Hey, a champion. Hey, look at it this way: a championship by default is still a championship.
Bingo.
But at the end of the day, they're gonna clown you on the forums, calling it a Mickey Mouse ring.
They're not champions, and you are. So who cares?
Fair enough.
Aiden, this is
Your haters are always gonna find a way. It doesn't matter how. So you might as well make it the easiest path for you. That's where you gotta get selfish.
absolutely, and it's funny because those two are teammates for Bandit Racing, so we're gonna kind of interject there on that one. As much as you want to see a teammate win, do you want to see that one win? Especially seeing as how they're both right there. The answer to that would typically be obviously no. And me and Kristina are on the same wavelength there. It doesn't. If it's a teammate that you know that you've already battled a bunch already this year, no, you don't want to battle them more.
No.
Path of least resistance 100% is the play. You definitely, especially when you're already battling 16 other cars.
Look, as a driver, 100%. As a fan, as a viewer, as a commentator, come on. There's always something fun about it.
Oh, of course. As a fan, you want it to be as close as possible. But yeah, I think the driver's side's screaming in my head right now, like, oh God, please. Because looking at this situation, Aiden Norman, one of the strongest drivers, bar none, really. And if it ends like it does now, his pathway to the championship is very bright.
It is. It 100% is. That's sort of and that's sort of it. Like for Aiden Norman, this is the last really big part of the crown that he's missing. He's won in everything else. Like he's won the SNS title. He's won Thursday Night Thunder. This is the last major title he's missing. He's got the others in spades. This is it for him. So, Noah Belleville, especially when looking at this round of 16 and looking at these races coming up, Noah Belleville 100% would be a huge threat to that. And who knows, if Jeremy Braille comes back in time for the playoffs, that's another big threat, the defending series champion. There's a car that's coming up. Yeah, there's a car that's about to get lapped here, I believe. It's Matt Leiter again.
It's Leiter who's 10 down. Probably should get on the apron here.
He's wounded now.
Yeah, he 100% is wounded. Yeah.
He's multiple laps down, so even if he was somewhat decent speed, he'd have to get multiple cautions. Hopefully he'll pull on the apron here.
My timing and scoring, he is 11 minutes behind.
And he's choosing the outside lane. Interesting.
Oh, that's not gonna
he's holding a lane at least, and he picked it. He picked it early. I have no problem with this.
Roberts and the rest on the outside line not gonna be too thrilled. They're gonna be set wide going in. Oh
my goodness!
Side loose there. Leiter.
And you know,
oh no!
And he gets Sears.
Over the bump, coming back up. We'll keep it low.
He holds it down. I'm just gonna say it now. That was not Matthew Leiter's fault. They're calling him to the hauler. I really don't know why. That was not his fault. He held his line and he just got ran over. I don't know. I don't know about that one.
That's a weird situation.
How much clearer can you be? Like, yes, I don't know.
Traditionally, and I'm going to kind of interject this with how ARCS has ruled plate tracks in the past, and obviously there's a discussion on whether or not it's acceptable or not. That can kind of be saved for a rainy day for a podcast if we ever start to launch one or whatever. Typically, if you're more than 2 laps down, the safest thing to do is get onto the apron and out of the way. Because
I agree with that.
Your competition is wrong. If you're more than 2 laps down, that is the traditional rule of thumb. That is something that they have followed all year long, from Daytona in February all the way to now. Leiter has not done that. It's not the first time they've been on him about that.
So I guess that's why he got called. I can understand that then, but I agree the safest place is on the apron, but he didn't do anything. I mean, he's on the wall. They're going 2 wide. It's not like they're going 3 wide, trying to make 4 wide work.
Again, at least the positive situation is that the silver lining is that at the end of the day, no one else got majorly involved in wreck.
True. That's true.
It could have been like Sears could have easily rear-ended him and took him out of contention. Kerr could have spun around, and then second pack would have piled in. So at the end of the day, Leiter was the only one that went around, and luckily didn't hit anyone on the way down.
Well, I think he did get Sears, but
Sears got a little bit of it, but Sears didn't lose anything. He's still where he is right now. It may have been fortunately a little bit of net code there for Sears. He got away with it because he's still right there with Henderson and Fetter Place.
So cool. No harm, no foul on that. Other than I don't know who it was that moved up there, but
typically when they call someone to the hauler for this situation, this is sort of like a last reprimand. Because typically they wait for someone to throw a protest. They didn't wait for that this time. It's like, okay, there's a talk that has to be had with Leiter because this happened at Atlanta and it happened in the spring Talladega race.
Yeah, I agree that Leiter shouldn't have been on the track for that, but he couldn't have picked any more of a safe place to be if he's going to be on the track. And I don't know, maybe this is just plate race supremacy sneaking through a little bit, but if you can't run 3 wide at Daytona, I don't know what to tell you. Get used to it.
So anyway, let's kind of switch gears here and kind of, as pit stops, green flag pit stops are going to come up sooner rather than later. We know at 25 on a tank you can successfully get to, and since there was about 25 to go when we got going anyway, we're coming close to the final green flag pit stops to the window. Most cars will probably take a splash and dash. Looking at the top 10 right now, top 5, only driver that could use a win, we have Kruger, but she's currently in the top, currently not locked in, but still above the line. Marshall, Wright, Garrison, Bellevue, all need wins to get into the playoffs. I'm currently inside the top 10. As the laps tick by, this can get racy. They are going to catch the 88 as well in the second year, another lap down car.
And for Kruger and for Briley Wright, this is the most important pit stop of the season.
Yeah. 100. And for Feimster, because right now, Briley Wright has a chance. Actually, no, Briley Wright needs to race win here, but he needs to be in this group.
Yeah, he needs a win.
Yeah, I forgot that he lost points there on the stages there, the Feimster and Kruger.
Even 46 out coming in tonight, and when he didn't get anything in the 2 stages, or he think he got a few in the duel, but not enough to really.
It was all marginal there.
Not enough to matter,
Not enough to get within 30. They have even a chance, and right now, one pause again for Kruger at the very least, even if a new winner does happen. She's currently in P5. Feimster's currently 18, but Tommy Reynolds pitting this time. We are going to see some pit stops.
All right.
Cutting it right down the middle.
Makes sense. Plenty of safety for green-white checkered as well here, so.
Yeah, that's everyone calling out. I've heard a lot of names throw in. This
is going to be a very busy pit lane then.
It's going to get sketchy. Don't lock it up. Wright going to stay out. A few going to stay out. But everyone else coming in late as you can get.
Oh, there's no way Overstad got that.
Yeah, no. He was way late. I didn't even see it lock up. Like, either he... No way. We'll see.
That was something else.
Let's keep the berries on just in case here. We're waiting to see a second here. Keep an eye on the clocks. Yep, he's over 12, 13. He got caught.
Yeah, he got caught speeding there, yep. I think so did Patrick.
Patrick did too.
Oh, no.
Got caught.
Both brothers got caught.
Oh, no. That's going to be a very unfortunate trip to McDonald's after the race.
So that means, both brothers got busted. Everyone else made it through okay. Next four just pitted. Garrison, Wright, Norman, Bellevue, all in. Look relatively okay for the most part.
Yeah, everybody else is coming in now, it looks like, so.
Yeah, may as well cover it off and have a cleaner pit lane to kind of enter.
Yeah, that's a much nicer entry for them. But now here's the thing, as you see on the left-hand side of your screen, these are the leaders, de facto leaders. But look, this is the pit lane situation. Fetter Place still scored as the leader in his pit box right now, just lost it to Aiden Norman. So these are the leaders. Where is Tommy Reynolds?
They're entering the triangle.
Garrison.
Yeah, so right now, they're going to get him probably through the middle.
And
1
it's
and 2.
all teammates 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one. Teammates 1, 2, 3 there. And they're going to... And Norman should be okay. But we're going to see it all kind of come together here.
Yeah, but they're not going to have enough energy, but they will be in the group,
Mm-hmm. They're going to come out ahead, but they're going to get caught here.
Mm-hmm. I think Norman might be the only one to tag on to the group. I think
I think Belleville and Garrison are safe too, because they're a tandem. They've got
Yeah, but
little
Belleville's
bit there.
blinking, so it's going to be hard to tandem correctly. We'll see.
They're going
Because
to
they
try
will
to tag
take
on.
Norman, who's, yeah.
Norman's going to fall in right here, and they're going to help out. So, yeah, they'll
Yeah.
get caught up to Norman.
So then.
They'll accordion there.
So that looks like bearing everything shaking out here, unless that second pack can get the momentum and edge up. It looks like it's going to be 8 cars to the finish here.
Big winner on this, though, is Briley Wright, who gained plenty of positions in pit lane, is not in this lead pack, but may not need to be, is now 9th place to Emma Kruger's 5th. So the bad news is...
You got to win.
Yeah.
Gotta win. There they are in that second pack. You can just see in the distance there. You can see the 8. He's going to try to get launched up to that second pack, but right now it's 5 seconds to the leader with 13 to go. I think they're going to need a caution of some sort to even have a chance.
I think Belleville will catch that 3-car group,
Bellevue, Norman, Garrison will probably get to this pack, but I'm talking about Wright will have to fall back to Marshall and Sears, and even then he's going to need, because that's only 4 cars, and then you got a pack with Pinnell and Feather Place in the next pack, and yeah, they're going to need a lot of assistance here.
Yeah,
get up.
Absolutely correct. My bad. I didn't know who you're talking about.
Regardless, we're going to have 8 cars here probably for the finish.
Overstat might be in the group, though, as he's going to go a lap down. So what can he do to maybe help a teammate?
Looks like.
So he's going to be in the group.
He could be a Beatron helper here, but with Beatron linked up 1, 2, 3.
Might not need it.
And the thing is, with Proudfoot needs a win. Kruger's the assistance behind, but what incentive does Kruger have to help Proudfoot?
None.
Yeah, there really isn't any, because it's either you help, either Feimster gets in for presidential racing or Proudfoot gets in for presidential racing, and Proudfoot's the bigger threat.
Yeah.
So you're not helping Proudfoot in. If Proudfoot steps out at any point, you're letting that 22 drop backwards.
Well, you know, if you're 5th place too, you're still thinking about, hey, I can win this race.
Yeah.
So you're looking in your mirror to see who can help you get around all these Beatron cars.
Kruger was a little bit late and see. First time we've seen that from the Belgian-born driver.
This is what it looks like for our pack to finish this race, though, provided we don't have a caution, which would throw everything on its head.
I will say this right now, the gap right now is as they hold. The gap right now, ooh, bad bumps over the 18. But I will say right now, the gap with points right now between Kruger and Feimster, they are tied. It's an 11-point gap between right now on the timing and scoring
They're
board,
catching lighter again here.
which means it will be 0 points right now. So the tiebreaker would be something else. Lighter on the apron will not play a factor. So if Kruger holds her position, she would be in a tiebreaker situation. Garrison just nails the wall, though, with Bellevue in tow. That's going to kill the line. But right now,
Tiebreaker would be stage. Tiebreaker in this point would be stage wins, and then I believe best finish.
and I'm not 100% who has stage wins right now, but obviously that could change if Feimster gets 1 spot. He's in a pack with Wright and Pinnell and Feather Place. So at the very least, if Feimster gets 1 more spot, Kruger falls 1 spot. Pinnell, Feimster gets it, vice versa. So right now, Kruger's on the razor's edge. If a new winner does get through, if Proudfoot can get up to the front, if Garrison or Bellevue on that outside line can find a way towards the front, they could be the spoiler that may play a factor here. But in this top 8, only drivers that would matter for the thing, Proudfoot, Garrison, Bellevue, and obviously if Kruger wins, we don't have to talk about points anymore for this.
And I'll tell you what, as much as you're trying to play it cool, and you know, I've had this question asked me plenty of times, and I've always told the broadcast booth, oh, I'm not thinking about points, I'm just gonna go out and do my job.
That's a lie.
There's no way you can do it. It's a lie. It's a lie.
It's a lie.
As much as it's always, even if it's not a full lie, it's still in the back of your head.
But
And if you're me, you hate that. I hate thinking about that, but that's what you get boxed into.
I don't know if Kruger, maybe she has someone, I don't know if Sharpson or the spotter group, if someone's in there relaying this information.
It doesn't matter. She's thinking that she knows.
She knows, but she doesn't know how safe she is.
So
That's the thing, or how often.
Yeah.
Lily Pelletier Sharp, as Emma Kruger's race engineer, has been all season
Hold
long.
on. Proudfoot going to the front.
Yeah.
Keep going. Just want to point that out.
Yeah, Proudfoot's going to the front. Proudfoot decided to step out in front of the Bandit Racing duo or trio here. Running on board Norman on the right side of your screen. Outside is what it looks like to the fans and everyone watching at home. Want to take the time with 8 laps to go. If you're watching, we appreciate you. We have more Daytona tomorrow for the HTL Cup Series.
Oh,
But this one is determined the real season finale.
They're going to catch some traffic here. That's going to be the 50 array.
Let's see, Aiden Norman. This is having to split the
Whoa!
middle.
Garrison got loose.
Got loosey-goosey.
You can tell the energy is starting to pick up, not just for these drivers, but the energy, the pack is starting to get unruly and unstable. Oh!
They're going to catch one more lap car here, the 84. There may be a chance they'll catch the 20 through the 24. It's finished.
Austin Mongold up on the top lane again.
They'll probably catch Lighter again since he's wounded as well.
Lighter's in the second pack, though, way behind. They won't catch him at this rate because he is...
Oh, he tagged into the pack?
Yeah, he's tagged in with the 8 pack right now.
Okay.
Right. So, yeah, there's no way they'll catch him unless something happens.
Copy that.
So they won't catch him. The next
Look
car they'll catch is a 23 and 20.
Garrison is all over the back of Aiden Norman right now. And
Garrison knows he needs
scary.
Proudfoot.
Proudfoot just got hip checked.
Hip checked into the almost inside wall. He will save it, but that is donezo for his chance at winning.
Mm-hmm.
Because Aiden Norman
got a yellow.
Aiden Norman got a huge shot from Garrison. We saw that on the right side of your screen. That shot made Aiden Norman hip check Proudfoot.
Yeah.
It's what happened with Ty Gibbs yesterday in that crash with Ryan Blaney. Exact same happening, exact same corner.
And yeah, you're starting to see the side drafts, the tandem draft. Look at how hard that your race leader is getting hit right now, and they're not lifting anymore. They're not going to lift anymore. There's no reason to. So yeah, this is on board with both drivers. This is the 18 of Garrison and Norman. So
flip the apron. Reynolds is out.
Oh,
Gaiman,
there they go.
Wow, they have not wrecked yet. Oh, there they go.
Gaiman and Smeal, and that's a caution.
Yeah, and that changes everything.
Yep, that's going to give Feemster another life here.
Wow.
This is a lot to cover here, but Norman leads the way at the moment.
Oh, I believe the first car a lap down in that situation
Roberts.
will end up being Bren Roberts. Yeah, that one car. We'll have to make sure that he didn't get any contact with that incident, because that'll disqualify him from the lead lap, because he won't be able to get it back. And this might be where it came from here. We're gonna switch on board. We got another camera angle here. We'll kind of switch over to the dynamic camera here. This is what we're seeing. Did Bren Roberts get through that? Yeah, he did that one car.
It looks like he did. I'll tell you who else gets through that critically. Kruger. Yeah, and the 29. They both sneak through there. So
29 get a lot of bangs though. So
yeah, it looked like it was all net code though. It was one of those situations where they all, because he blinked out, and that's where I thought the first wreck was certainly going to be. Here we see it. They both got loose, the 18 and the 7. Gaming gets knocked down there, and now they're 4.5 wide. There's where the 29 gets hit by Garrison.
Garrison gets ping-ponged. Bellevue in the game, and
yeah, Belleville's inside of
this is net code
because of the blinking.
Yeah, at that point you don't know where he is, so he survives it, and then it almost looks like it's going to work its way out, and then Smeal hooks.
Yeah, they just
on the line.
They ran out of lives effectively. Yeah, and look at Kruger, hard on the brakes.
Ooh, almost ran over by Overstat.
Yeah, Overstat did a great job too. Overstat found the brake pedal.
She was basically, she has no fast press. She was looking at, like, if she gets collected in this, she's got to hope a new winner does not happen.
Oh yeah, well, she's in a great position to be that winner, so she knows what's at stake here.
Wow. Wild stuff.
Woo. Yeah, and oh, by the way, we're out of laps. How fast did that race click off? We're gonna have either a natural green-white checkered or our first attempt at overtime.
So to fill everyone in, obviously a lot of people watching here around the world, wherever you are, on a wonderful Sunday evening for racing. I'm used to streaming all weekend long, and I didn't get the stream last night. So Sunday evening, or Monday morning if you're on that side of the world, we appreciate you spending your time with us here on ABN. For those that are unfamiliar, there's 3 voices tonight. Don't do that very often. But here's who's in the booth. I'm Carmen. Sienna. Alongside me is a world champion, a Daytona 500 race winner, Screen to Speed Vegas Violence. Carmen, Kristina Ryan alongside me, and alongside me, as always, partner with Prime on Sundays and Wednesdays, Kevin Young, who's got a track record in ABN, almost was a lap away from winning the Arrowhead 500 in 2022.
And I got a record, a track record at your favorite track.
Yeah, at my home track, at ABN's home track, yeah. A lot of accolades there. Let's see which one sticks out the most there on that screen, in the bottom center of your screen there. Aiden Norman leads the way. What will become, if I am not mistaken, this will be, or should be, a natural green-white checker.
Yep. It looks like it'll be the first attempt at a green-white checker, because they'll be getting 2 to go at the line. Lights are still on. They have not doubled, so it will be overtime number 1.
Okay. So first attempt at green white checkered finish here. Again, for those that are unfamiliar with the rules here, I was going to kind of go in there and then went on a tangent there. There are three. There's two differences in our Cup Series that we broadcast here on ABM. On Sundays here, the ARCS for Cup Series follows almost to the letter the NASCAR Cup Series rules. Choose cone in effect. We'll see that in a couple laps here. If not, coming to this lap here.
It's going to be this lap.
3 attempts at an overtime finish. Only 3. Traditional overtime rules apply. If you take the white flag, they race it to the finish. There's nothing that stops them. Once they take the white flag, it is just on from there. Tomorrow night, there are unlimited green-white checkers. So that means the duels that are going to be short could be prolonged exponentially tomorrow night with drivers having to race their way in. Very intense, both tonight and tomorrow night, but there's going to be a finite end to this race. It's just a matter of how many attempts will it take to get to this point.
What a beautiful little dichotomy. You have the end of a regular season tonight with several drivers trying to race their way into the final stage of the championship, and then tomorrow night we have dozens, literally, of drivers trying to race their way into the start of a season. So one door closes, another one opens.
Absolutely.
Opportunities are very plentiful, and they tend to be coming more and more at the high banks of Daytona.
I'll drop a little juicy tidbit here. 52 cars attempting to qualify for the HTL Daytona 300 tomorrow night. One of those drivers, this series defending series champion, Jeremy Brayo.
That'll be fun.
It's going to be a wild one. A lot of champions in that entry list for tomorrow. Only 36 make the cut for the 300 on September 4th. So we're going to be here for a little bit more. But we've got a few laps left to run here tonight for the end of the regular season.
Let's run this down for the viewers at home here, just to quickly give them a quick isolation. Right now, there's 2 drivers fighting for points. One will get in, the other one will be the cut line and could get bounced if a new winner happens. Right now, Feemster is currently above Kruger by a couple points with how they shake up right now. If that switches, that could change. Looking at the top 10 right now, drivers that need wins to get into the playoffs. Garrison, Bellevue, Emma Kruger, if she wins, she wouldn't have to worry about it. Proudfoot, Wright, Marshall, those are the 6 out of the top 10, with Smeal being a part-time driver. Other than that, Philip Vervac, you got Kerr, Feemster, and Ryan Pennell as well, a little bit farther back. This is going to get racy. Garrison, not really a threat long this season, could maybe throw the Hail Mary here because it's college night, could pull the Hail Mary, and the band could march on the field, and he could be the miracle kid, but we'll see how it all plays out.
I'll throw a little stat, a little bit of tidbit out here. Half the races we've done on plate tracks for ARCS this year, the winner on this last race starts come from outside the top 10.
So that favors like a James Kerr. Pace car off, here we go.
Green
big
flag.
checkup with the 29.
Yeah, a little bit latency there. It's not going to help him there, but Garrison got a really good start.
He'll just slide slam Marshall wheels. Kerr involved. That's going to be a quick caution.
Yeah, that's going to be a caution. There it is.
There it is.
Took a second. They wanted to make sure everyone got clear of the pit lane.
I also saw, I think Feemster may have made a rule violation there with a line change too, but looks like he went for the line, so 2 intensively striked. But Garrison and Bellevue, I think, will take 1-2 here, but we'll have to see.
And critically, both of the drivers fighting for that last spot seem to have gotten through unharmed.
Yes. Well, I think Feemster may have made a line change, but I don't think he got a penalty, so.
Well, we'll see. It'll depend too, because if he was making a reaction to the crash, then that will be excused. But
yeah.
And the other thing, if they don't pick it up, he might get.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
That happens from time to time.
It's up to the stewards.
Alrighty, so we'll kind of go through and review that. Obviously, we saw Noah Belleville got through that pretty well. It looks like the checkup kind of started there with Belleville in the latency there. But we'll kind of look back. You see it's already in the wall there, further back behind, I believe it's Tom Sears. So we'll kind of step back here. You said that it was Evan Marshall that got a piece of it here. And
yeah, Marshall jumps out. You'll see it, but yeah, we'll let it play.
We'll play it in slow motion here, and we'll see if we can jump to our chopper camera. Marshall in the 16. Obviously, everyone getting to the starting line here.
There's the blank of Belleville.
So you said there's potentially a restart violation there by Kevin Feemster.
You can see Feemster jump before the line. Before the line.
Yeah.
That's a restart violation by Kevin Feemster, 100%. That's bad.
But is his argument going to be he saw the 29 blinking and thought they were going to... I mean, that's what his argument's going to be. He thought they were going to wreck. How much that would actually go.
Race control to control that. I just noticed it.
Yeah. To be fair, he's not wrong because him moving down is how he avoided that wreck. So I don't know. Maybe some sixth sense. I mean, that happened.
The inside lane's the one that checked up, not the outside lane, which is interesting. Because all that started with Edward Marshall running into the back of somebody. We'll step back in here and look at this, and that is the 22 of Proudfoot that he gets into the back of.
Yeah.
Gets a really good launch there.
And that sends him to Briley right, and then the 75 fills the hole, and then at that point,
well, at that point, you can't slam the brakes. Like everyone's still going, and no one sees smoke. No one's going to see that there's a problem there. Huge. James Kerr, ironically, gets the least amount of damage in that situation because he had another car to kind of cushion that impact, and it looks like it's all mostly panel.
Yeah, playing devil's advocate, right, for Kevin Feemster, he's gonna say, hey, the 29 blinked. I saw people checking up and squiggling around on the tops lane because the top lane didn't get going very well either because Sears had to check up for the blink. He says, hey, I thought they were gonna. That's what he's gonna say. I thought they were gonna wreck. I moved down, and then they did wreck, so I was right. Whether it was related or not, whatever. But right on board here.
On board with Kevin Feemster. Yeah, he's not going to see a whole lot there if we can't.
I think he might get bailed out by the fact that they did wreck, but, that's not up to us to make the call.
It's up to Stewart's. I just noticed it. That was the only thing.
But at the same regard, if that is a violation, the other option was get involved in the wreck, right? Because, he made a wrong move that ended up bailing him out of a crash. So, at the end of the day, I'd still take that.
Yeah.
Second attempt at an overtime finish coming up here. Josh Garrison now leads the way ahead of Noah Belleville. And Aiden Norman's worst reality is coming to life here. Because you got Josh Garrison, who is not his teammate, and Noah Belleville, who is his teammate, but he does not want to see in the playoffs.
Yeah.
What lane do you pick in this choose cone rule?
Who do you help? Oh,
Aiden Norman's like, I'm going to go the inside lane.
So Belleville goes to the top again, and
Reynolds going to join. Lane. Interesting. I thought Reynolds may have backed up Norman, but
yeah, Belleville going up there is going to be interesting with the blinks he's
Reynolds
had.
isn't teammates with Bandit Racing anymore. He's with Beatron. That is completely. He's playing chaos at this point.
Oh yeah, my mistake on that one. Oh baby.
So that was our first attempt too. So we only get 2 more in this series.
Yeah.
So,
again, Garrison wins. He's in, and either Kruger and Feather Place, one of those two is out.
And right now it would be Kruger because,
it would be
Feemster that would get kicked, right? Or that it's worth. So Feather Place is locked in.
Yeah, Feemster would get in right now at the moment. Kruger would be the first one out if the winner happens.
Yeah, because Feemster's 9th place, and Emma needs an 11 position gap.
Yeah.
Which is going to be hard to do. Not impossible, because Feemster's been a magnet, but...
Well, so is Kruger. They've both been in a lot of wrecks today.
There's the devil's advocate right there. Both of them have been problematic. It just, Feemster's a little bit further down to be in it. But we also saw that kind of started at the front of the field that time, so...
And they're not done.
Who knows? The only one that's had run is Ryan Pinnell, who locked himself in at the end of stage 2. So
yeah, he's
nothing to worry about.
He's going, woo, keep rocking. I like this. This is fun.
He doesn't have to count.
Oh, race car drivers and counting, they're so bad at it, they got a crew chief, so. They like to go fast and make turns.
Absolutely. Coming to the second attempt at an overtime finish. A lot of drivers looking for an opportunity to get in and battle for a championship over these next 10 weeks. Josh Garrison will lead the way on the outside lane with help from Noah Belleville. Aiden Norman will have help from Tom Sears. Good old looking Tom has found his way back to the front of the field. Green flag is in the air. 2 laps to go here at Daytona. Saw Feimster make a clean
Oh, Garrison.
transition that
My
time.
line did not get going with that check down. You can see right in front of the 22.
Oh, clips the 21.
Yeah,
Caution's
Caution
out.
out again.
Caution.
How much damage is on Feimster's car? How many spots did he lose?
Oh, we're gonna have to
Because if the
see
caution was called later, he's going to lose quite a few
That
spots
was
from
called
that.
like-
pretty quick.
here.
Yeah.
He's climbing up the order here right now, so he will keep a lot of spots here. The
But the question is, how wounded is that right front? He did a very good job to not get collected and come back up the track. You don't get away with that very often. So great job on Feimster to keep the car pointed in the right direction. And that means that we're 0 for 2 and only have one more chance to make this official.
No calls.
So here's what happened here. Elvis George was leaving pit lane, was not a factor in this in the slightest.
Yeah, it was the move down from Reynolds because Garrison, for about the 12th time tonight, almost got hooked.
Yeah, this is a really good angle of it from the chopper cam going into
everyone
turn 1. We'll
nailed.
play it slow motion here. Reynolds
The gap
tried
was
shooting a
closed.
gap, but it's a move that was there for like a split second. And
Yeah,
you hear your
it-
spotter say clear inside, but it doesn't always tell you gap closing, unfortunately. And you see Feimster tries to get away with this. Oh, that almost directly on that right front tire.
I almost feel like that might be netcode because I don't see the 21
if you're
react.
Feimster, you hope it is.
Yeah, I don't see the 21 react a whole lot. One of the overstats
Patrick.
made it,
Yeah,
but the other one
Patrick.
didn't.
Yes.
Yeah, Patrick, nowhere to go.
Wow. Oh, Lighter.
And
Is
Lighter
this-
is gonna get.
Yep, there you go.
Oh, poor guy.
He was
and everything
already out
but the
of it.
snack bar.
Oh,
And
did
just another-
Kerr? Oh, Kerr got a piece
Yes,
of it there
Kerr
too.
did get involved. Not bad. He shouldn't be wounded. It's just
It's still
little
come in and
doink.
get that taken care of because that might affect the radiator a little bit. Although
at this point
in
you
fair-
can't worry because if they wreck again, the caution's out and the race is over. Don't pit. Why would you pit?
Well,
but some of them are because they're out of gas.
Fuel concerns. Yeah, fuel
Uh-huh.
concerns.
That was
Norman, Sears, and
my
Feather Place
gosh.
happen to step out of the way. All three that are locked in.
Yeah, so that doesn't hurt them too much. But what this does do is it scoots Emma
The
Kruger
tough-
into the podium, and it scoots
Out.
Feimster up to 6th.
But it raises a question: if they pitted on that lap, what's the question mark of the cars there in the top 8 right now? Because all of them last pitted on 65 or 66, respectively.
Yeah, and if you're Kruger and Feimster, you can't pit.
Yeah. So now the question is, what's their fuel economy like?
Not great.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't like at
It
this
doesn't
point.
matter. You need a win, but you don't want to run out on the back stretch of the white flag lap. You can't pit though, and obviously put yourself behind the 8 ball. But if you run out, you're donezo. So
You just gotta hope. That's all you
gotta
can
pray.
do is just hope. You gotta shut the
Obviously-
car off, roll around as much as you can.
if it was detrimental, they would have came in there. I think either they think they have enough or they can find enough.
Yeah. Or the other situation is they're hoping there's a wreck again. Yeah, well, yeah, because it might work. Because if they lie to themselves, then they crash immediately and the race ends under yellow. You're fine.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But yeah,
except
look-
for Emma would not be fine because as it sits right now, she'd be out.
Yeah. She would
Yes.
be out.
Yes.
Teamster would be in. Kruger would be out. Garrison. Because
Or
right
Garrison
now.
be in.
Yeah, Garrison be in. Garrison must win. He wins. He wins.
Belleville's
29
in.
Belleville's
Kruger would be
Kruger
in.
would
So
in.
any of this top 3, this is Kruger's worst nightmare because
The
it
top-
was not. All she needed to do was not have a new winner, and now she's gonna.
Going further back as well. Proudfoot win and he's in. Feimster win and he's in, but that would actually help Kruger because Kruger above wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
White already won at Richmond. He's fine. Ryan Pinnell wins would actually help Kruger as well, or Feimster because he's already above both.
It's
Really
all
good.
with the exception of Smeal.
Yeah.
It's everybody against Kruger at the moment.
100%. Yeah, everyone's for themselves. But that's also the thing. Everyone's for themselves. Like
Yeah.
let's
Oh, yeah.
not cluster the fact that like of all the drivers early in this list, Garrison, Belleville, Proudfoot, Kruger, they're not teammates.
No.
They're not, especially now. Like, but they're not teammates anyway. Your friends, to take a term directly from Kristina, when we talked about this last time we were on a plate track, your friends are wherever you find them.
Yeah.
Friends? What are friends? What is the
look at
definition
this.
for friends?
Oh, Kruger's
Look
going
at this.
strong.
Kruger took the inside,
The
and
20
I don't disagree with that because I'll tell you what. Josh Garrison's just about got hooked every restart and the 5 laps leading up to the green-white checkered. The 29's been blinking.
The only thing I don't like is why the 29 didn't like to go to the inside there. I mean, he
Hasn't the last couple.
He's felt confident behind the 18, but if a quick caution comes out like we saw the
He's
previous
not
2
going to
times,
get any help.
True.
Yeah.
He's not going to get any help.
He's got to make his own luck. He's make his own magic.
Kruger's going to have to try and beat that 18, which she could, because if the 29 blinks, the 18 gets those bad bumps again, she's going to get clear. But she's going to have to be awfully wide. And what does John Smeal do? Because Kruger's okay if Smeal wins.
But Smeal's well, part-time runner. He only runs occasionally. He wants to win. He's just looking for the flag. He does not care about Kruger. He's looking for the flag. And he's also looking to help Beatron in the standings.
Look at it this way. Belleville carries the crown. He cannot wear it as it currently sits because he will have no help. It's a matter of who that crown is bestowed upon. Is it Garrison? Is it Kruger? Does Smeal have help from Proudfoot? Does Proudfoot make his own space? Does he make his own destiny out of the situation? Don't deny that David Wright's in there too, and would like some extra bonus points going into the playoffs because he's not the strongest at tracks like Darlington. Does he go for it as well? Like, there's a lot of drivers here that are going for broke.
And all of this depends on them coming to that white flag.
Absolutely.
Which they very well may not do. So
caution, and this is a mute point. Whoever's ahead wins it.
100%.
This is the last attempt.
Pace car pulls down pit lane. Garrison and Kruger will lead the field of green as they go through the restart zone for the final time. We are underway in Belleville with a rocket launch this time.
Yeah, and Garrison went just a touch early, and Belleville was with him. So they're both going to come down and clear now.
And that's not good for the 70. 70's going to go high. Oh, Bellevue going to block it off. Go back. Oh, and he gets right in the
no!
They go.
That's it. It's over.
No flag yet.
Oh, are they going to let it run out?
They're going to let it run.
What? That's 20 cars in the back.
No,
all right.
Yeah, you see all the cars in the back,
Let 'em race.
in the trunk. But we're going to focus on the front because this is not over for Kruger. If Smeal wins, it's over. If Wright wins, it's Kruger. If Roberts wins, it's Kruger. Garrison's in the bad spot right now.
Garrison was hung out to dry there. He's going to sit alone here.
Here comes David Wright with help from Brett Roberts.
White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go in Daytona.
Wright is a Kruger's best friend right now.
So is Roberts.
So is Roberts, the front two.
So is Smeal. Anyone except the 18 right now if you're a Kruger fan.
Oh, they're gonna. Oh, there goes the 1, and the 18, and the 13. There they all go. David Wright comes through.
And then goes Proudfoot.
It's Wright.
Can't make it through. It's gonna be Wright. Garrison's the only. Gaiman's gonna come flying down.
He's not gonna get enough momentum though. Gaiman's gonna come second. It's over.
David Wright is gonna survive the onslaught.
And that means that Kruger's gonna make it in.
Kruger will be in the playoffs.
And by himself.
David Wright. 1 win at Richmond, 2 wins tonight here at Daytona.
Gaiman second, Fetter place 4th, Proudfoot rebounds for 4th, and how about James Kerr in 5th?
You do feel for Garrison a bit, though. He just got hung out to dry there, tried something, got a bad one.
I think his luck ran out. I don't know. I don't think he did necessarily anything wrong, but I knew that was coming. Maybe. He was, not that anything he did necessarily wrong, but he was so unstable when he was getting pushed. It's just one of those deals. And that was one of the Daytona races of all time, honestly.
It will confirm one more thing as well. Obviously, without any mathematics needed, Pennell, Feemster, and Kruger will all lock themselves in with a non-new winner. So they'll all be happy on that front. And Brandon Featherplace will be your regular season champion, and he has clinched it here tonight as well. So David Wright, though, obviously happy with 2 wins. Those bonus points going to help him, and he's going to burn it down on University night in the Tar Heels car. He's going to celebrate like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, I tell you what an exciting finish. It's going to be one that's, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of controversy.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of spiciness. Obviously, the hauler, we talked about, Matthew Letta being in the hauler. That seems like, at this point, the least of the concerns.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy place.
He's going to
get it
for sure. He's going to go in there first, just get it out of the way, like, okay, done, and then leave, and then everyone else is going to pile in.
He's going to walk in there and be like, why are you in here? Well, I was told to be.
For next time. Got it.
So a little bit of a congratulatory bump there as we watch Tommy Withers, who's also in the playoffs here, giving his teammate a bump. Oh, I think Wright was stuck. I think he was high sided in the grass.
Yeah,
so
he
Withers
did.
just gave him a bit of a bump there in the 23 car.
Get him going for the burnout. That's cool. Saw a little bit of sportsmanship during the shootout there
in
last
HTL.
time around in HTL. Seeing a little bit here. Oh, he's done it again, has he? No, he's got a couple.
He's got it this time. Just to make sure you don't flatten those tires, because then you will be stuck. And you're gonna need a tow truck to get that thing out. While we wait here, we're gonna look at the final restart here in just a second as he burns it down, and it is going to be interesting. Well, went over here. This is the final restart. Kristina, walk us through it.
Yeah, you see the great launch there by the 18 and the 29, a little bit of coordination there, which let them get a big jump ahead of Kruger. Smeal didn't get going quite like how I think Kruger wanted it to happen, but Kruger knows that this isn't how it can work, so she needs to make a play. She goes up, 29 blocks, and then she crosses over, and the 29 tried to make a second swipe, and we talk about it all the time, Carmen. You make two swipes. This is what very often will happen. And this is where... Yeah, this is where about half the field gets. I mean, this is massive. I mean, this is at least 13 cars because no one's lifting. There you see. Oh, there's where that was Feemster who took a hard lick in that as well. Kruger's around. The 62 nearly goes upside down.
Oh,
takes a hard lick, and then here they come in the background. There's it's the 29 up in the air, so he's destroyed. Donald Ray comes sliding in. 33 gets hit hard by Leiter, who gets another one off the resume tonight. And this is a product of it because nobody's lifting. This is everybody trying to come down to the line. They know the caution's either going to come out or it's a point of no return, so everybody gets stupid, and that's how that works. But then this is what we ended up with coming to this is with 2 to go. So now we're coming around to the white flag. Here's your race leader at the time, the 18 of Josh Garrison, and the 13 of Smeal. But look at this momentum. The 42 clears with the 1.
They were so hooked up.
And it's smart that the 13 the 18 didn't block, because that just would have been another wreck. But what happens here is that they get all offset, and they're going to come up for this quadruple tandem, and it's just not going to work because they don't know where to take the run, the 18 and the 13. They try to go high, then they try to look low.
They tried reading because they thought Roberts was going to try to jump out.
Yeah, and he didn't.
And there was no chance. And then Proudfoot was trying to split the Red Sea there, and the waves crashed in.
Yeah, and now look at the momentum here that the 61 car has. But we're looking on the nose.
Proudfoot did a good job of saving it. I want to kind of just point that up there. A fantastic job to save it. Just lost all his momentum there.
And all the momentum in the world for Josh Gaiman, but David Wright's just a dot off in the distance. Yeah. No chance there. David Wright put it where he needed it to, and not only gave himself some critical bonus points, as you mentioned. You said it right before you went back to green, Carmen. Don't count him out. He needs those bonus points. He's not great at Darlington, but he bails himself out for a little bit of extra breathing space and punches the ticket of Emma Kruger into the championship.
It's just a wild, wild night.
Yeah, wild's an understatement.
Josh Gaiman, by the way, went from on that final restart went up to second place. James Kerr went up to from 19th place to 5th.
That's why we talked about it earlier. Never count yourself out. If you are on the lead lap, you have a chance to win. So that was proven because it almost. I mean, everybody but David Wright in the front got wrecked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We almost had a James Butcher situation.
Exactly. And it nearly was Josh Gaiman.
Wild stuff here gosh. Tonight. David Wright, race winner here for Prophecy Motorsports. His second win of the season. The 4th for that team this season. Josh Gaiman, 2nd. Brandon Fett plays 3rd. We have some interviews to do. It's going to be very, very, very interesting indeed tonight. We'll start off with our race winner. We'll start off with David Wright and see what he's got to say here in that Tar Heels Chevrolet. David, this is Carmen in the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Got a copy, Carmen. What's going on?
What a drive. What a finish here at Daytona. 2nd win of the season. Some extra bonus points going into the playoffs. How are you feeling? Obviously, that was a wild finish.
That it's like I told the other ones. I said I felt like Moses and the seas just parted in front of me. They're coming with after we took that last green white checker. So You know, you get on these restrictor plate tracks, you got to just try to put yourself in position. And my whole Prophecy Motorsports team, we tried to stay together through the majority of the race and help each other, and we got separated a little bit during that green flag run. And what can you say? You know, they just kept wrecking in front of me, and I just kept on going. I don't know. It was luck. It was pure luck.
You know, I always make this comment, and I'm going to be using it a lot over the next couple weeks. Luck's the intersection of talent and opportunity. It's now 2 wins for you this season, 4 wins for that team going into the playoffs. How are you feeling going into the round of 16, knowing that you've got yourself a little bit extra cushion with those bonus points from those race wins?
I feel good. I feel like we've got a strong team, Prophecy, and you know, I don't never want to predict anything, but I feel like we've got a good shot at it, just as good a shot as anybody. We're not always some of the fastest people out there, but a lot of times we're some of the cleanest and try to, you know, the ones that try to save their equipment. So I think we'll have a shot.
Obviously, you've done a phenomenal job so far this season. In the last 5 races, you went from being on the outside, almost looking for a miracle, to not only getting a first win at Richmond and being in that conversation from the start, but then backing it up with another win here. Going into the round of 16, Darlington, Kansas, and Bristol. Are there any tracks in the back of your mind of those 3 where you feel super comfortable in that 42 tonight? Because that 42 Camaro tonight looked real good, but was super quiet until it mattered most. Yeah,
that's usually my MO most of the time. So, you know, I feel like I run Darlington fairly well. I don't know that I'll win, but it's another track where you need to save equipment to be fast and, you know, or to have a chance, and that's something I do. Bristol, don't know. Bristol can go either way. Kansas puts on a good show, and I think it's going to be one. So time will tell. We'll just everybody have to tune in and watch.
Absolutely. Again, Darlington on Saturday night, coming up here in just 6 days' time. David, you did a phenomenal job here on college night, representing the University of North Carolina. Those Tar Heels gonna be extra proud. You put that car on victory lane here tonight. Before we let you go and let you celebrate with your team, we saw a little bit of celebration there with Tommy Withers there after the checker flag flew. But if there's anyone you should out and say thank you to, David, the floor is yours. Congratulations again, 2nd win of the season, and very much in a good position going into the round of 16.
Carmen, I appreciate it. And like always, I thank everybody in the booth. Y'all put on the show as far as televising it, letting us come down here and play. The league itself, A Squared, for putting it on so that we can do this. And of course, got to thank Prophecy Motorsports for drafting me to begin with and giving me a chance. So, because I was one of the last ones drafted. So, I gotta give a shout out to them and Tommy, and just appreciate everything that everybody does to make this stuff go on so that we can come down here and play and have fun.
A lot of fun tonight. Can't get much more fun than winning here at Daytona. David, congratulations here tonight. We'll be seeing you in 6 days' time at Darlington. Enjoy it, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you again very soon.
Thanks, Carmen. I appreciate it.
That was David Wright, race winner tonight for Prophecy Motorsports. 4th win for that team this season. Dustin Painter, Tommy Withers won races earlier this season. Painter not eligible for the playoffs. Withers is eligible. He locked himself in at Vegas way early this season. And now David Wright making himself look like a very strong force tonight, making sure the Prophecy Motorsports got this win one way or another, whether it was off of the back of Josh Garrison or on David Wright's back himself there. We'll move forward here. We'll move to Josh Gaiman, 2nd place finisher tonight for B-Tron Racing. This team was so dominant here for so long, and it all fell apart so quickly. We'll hear what he has to say about how this race unfolded for him in that 61 crew. Josh, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
I'm here.
What a drive to get the 2nd place. Again, you kind of got to just see everything happen in front of you. not what we're used to seeing from B-Tron Racing, just in terms of the dominance. What happened tonight that sort of broke all of that down? And obviously just kind of walk through your perspective of that last sort of, those last 5-6 laps.
Yeah, I mean, those last couple, like that last restart there was pretty much just, commit to whoever's in front, because I kept just losing spots on the restarts. And luckily, whenever the seas parted, I was able to just kind of keep my foot in it and make my way through. I had help from Brandon Fetterplace, who gave me a heck of a push all the way through, and then had to lift off just to not get run over on that wreck, and I didn't lift really, to be honest. Just trying to get everything I could out of a situation that was going my way, really.
Obviously, it's very intense and stressful here. We've seen the highs and lows here. You're going to see a lot of these faces tomorrow night. And I'm going to kind of segue into this because you're the first person we get to talk to that is going to have this experience. You had a chance to drive some of these drivers now. What do you take from tonight going into tomorrow night? Obviously, qualifying for HTL is going to be something, but how do you kind of just shake this off and go into tomorrow night and try to potentially go for pole position?
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a lot you can take away from any race, no matter what league it is. And especially with there being a lot of people being the same. You learn who you can work with well, and who's gonna possibly be a bit of a thorn in your side. But I didn't really have too many issues with people, really. It was just everyone was getting super aggressive there at the end, and it's the end of the regular season, so of course everyone's just gonna race super hard and get every point they can, and just try to make every position they can count. It's gonna be interesting tomorrow. It's definitely a different atmosphere, for duels and qualifying over like a full race. I think it'll be pretty fun, pretty aggressive, so we'll see.
Obviously, it's going to be a wild time seeing the 61. For Stepping Stone Motorsports tomorrow night, one of 52 cars trying to go for pole position tomorrow night. But before we say anything else, obviously, we hope to see you on Saturday night for Darlington. Saturday night race for A Squared. It's going to feel weird for everybody. How are you feeling going into the round of 16? Do you feel like you've got a chance to possibly, make a very easy job of it? You did. Last time we saw you at Darlington, made it look very, very easy. Do you think you can do that again next week?
Yeah, I think I'm like 4 for 4 at Darlington right now. Or maybe 3 for 4, something like that. HTL, I got that win over, I think it was Caitlin. We had a hell of a battle there. That was a really fun race.
Yeah, you and Chad Spotsworth, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then there was, the last ARCS race there was just a blast. The car felt really good. This time, we'll be running a slightly different package on the car.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's good or manageable, but we'll see. It's my favorite car track combo with this specific car. I think Darlington's just an absolute blast.
Well, before I let you go and obviously let you enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening and get ready for a very busy Monday coming up, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, Josh, the floor is yours. Congrats again. Podium here tonight at Daytona, and a very good chance to do well in the round of 16 coming up here beginning next weekend.
Yeah, thanks. Shout out, the guys at B-Tron. We were working really good together tonight. Of course, it got a little chaotic, so it kind of got broken up, and, Steven had the speeding penalty that kind of, set him back a bit, but, we did what we could with what we had, and tried to help some other people out to try to move forward with their season. Shout out all the guys at Stepping Stone for, we're going to be really busting our butts over at HTL and throughout that whole season. 213 Simware, McConey Setup Shop, and W Energy, for being on board, and, hopefully we can expand that a little bit here soon. And, you for putting on these broadcasts.
Well, Josh, it's always fun seeing that 61 car up near the front of the field. second place tonight after a wild finish at Daytona. Enjoy it, and hopefully we get to see a little bit more straightforward running from you tomorrow night in the duels for HTL.
Yep.
That was Josh Gaiman, second place finisher here tonight. We got one more interview we're going to be doing, and that is going to be with Brandon Fetterplace. This is going to throw me off so much. There's two of them in here, and they finished third and fourth. But it's going to be Fetterplace we talked to here, the third place finisher representing the University of Cincinnati. Cincinnati's own. We know a thing or two about Cincinnati. We'll talk to him at 34 for Line Power. Brandon, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Sure do. How you doing?
Obviously, I think a little bit less stressful for us than it was for you and everyone on track tonight. Third place tonight, representing the University of Cincinnati Bearcats. Walk through it. Those last 5 laps especially. How do you do anything with what you have in front of you?
I have no idea. I mean, I was pretty much just flying by the seat of my pants most of that race. I got involved in a couple of them. You know, I felt like I was, just trying to make the right moves and just trying to stay in the points. And I think that last restart right there, I started like 15th or 16th, and then they started wrecking. And next thing I know, I'm third. And I'm like, wow, okay, we're doing stuff.
So, and we're watching this onboard here. Obviously a great looking car. You give a Ohio State car the bump there. How difficult was this race? 27 cars, one of the bigger fields we've seen this season. Typically it's about 23, 24 cars. But how much did those just 3-4 extra cars matter in the long term of just trying to find a rhythm tonight? Because it seemed like no one ever really got on a stable footing.
Right. I mean, the extra cars were, a monkey wrench into what we were doing. I mean, because with all the new people, you don't know who you can work with, who's, going to be comfortable pushing, who's going to be comfortable being pushed. So, with all the big moves, you don't know who's going to do crazy moves. So there was just a big question mark. But, I feel like for what it was, other than a couple of accidents and a couple of people, I think it was a pretty awesome race.
You did such an amazing job tonight, obviously navigating in the chaos to get a third place. But now it's going to get a lot more serious. Darlington on Saturday, then Kansas and Bristol in the round of 16. Obviously, you've got a couple of race wins under your belt here in the A-Square Cup Series. You've won, on average, one a season. You're the regular season champion. Lock that up, obviously, with the third place finish tonight. So those bonus points are in hand. But how comfortable do you feel going into those next 3 races? Because it is a gauntlet coming up.
Right. It was very tough to get here. I'm super happy that I was able to get regular season. That was a feat in itself. I mean, it was very tough. This field is extremely strong, and it's they're hard to beat every week. And now it gets even harder because the playoffs are here, and now everyone's racing for the main championship. So, I need to stay consistent. Keep doing what I'm doing. And we'll just see where the chips fall. I mean, I feel pretty good at Darlington, feel pretty good at Kansas. The short tracks, and we have Talladega, and you know how I feel about super speedways. So, it's going to be very tough, and you can't take any week lightly, and, just have to do the best that I can do and see what happens.
Well, you did a phenomenal job here this evening at Daytona. Third place finish representing the UC Bearcats. Our home alumni here this evening. Fantastic looking car, fantastic job here getting a third place. Before we let you go and kind of get ready for Darlington in 6 days, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. You did a phenomenal job tonight, surviving all the chaos and bringing it home a podium for Line Power.
Thank you very much. Thank you to obviously Line Power and Tom Sears, and thank you to ABN for all the wonderful broadcasts that you all do, and thanks to the league, and just thanks to everybody. UC Bearcats for being on the car. Kevin Feemster did this paint, so thanks to him, and we'll go back at it and go get them at Darlington.
Absolutely fantastic job tonight, Brandon. Enjoy the podium, and we'll be seeing you very shortly in South Carolina.
Thank you very much.
That was Brandon Fetterplace, third place finisher here this evening. And again, you see the unofficial results. They've been scrolling on the left-hand side of your screen. We're going to pull them up full focus in the center here tonight. David Wright, Josh Gaiman, Brandon Fetterplace. We heard all three of our podium finishers here tonight. They are locked in, obviously. They were marked in red. Brandon Proudfoot needed to win. Won't have a chance to win, but now can play spoiler over the next 10 weeks. Same with James Kerr for Black Acid Racing. Needed a win, was close, survived the melee from 19th to 5th, but that's the highest he could get tonight after leading laps early on here in Daytona. John Smeal obviously won on Friday night for the Ignition Series, continued that, followed that up with a 6th place finish tonight alongside Tommy Reynolds in 7th place. He will do double duty. He'll take off his Chevrolet cap, put on a Toyota cap tomorrow night for Arrowhead Racing as he tries to qualify on pole position for the HTL Daytona 300 tomorrow night. Mike LaJoy in 8th place, Tom Sears in 9th, Blake Henderson in his ARCS debut finished 10th here at Daytona. Good warm-up for him over these next 2 weeks. He's going to need it. Tommy Withers in 11th for Prophecy Motorsports. Again, all the drivers marked in red are already locked in. They were locked in going into the night. Withers locked in. Emma Kruger, after tonight, will be in the championship fight. The round of 16 will have Emma Kruger in it, as well as Kevin Feimster and Ryan Pinnell. They have locked themselves in on points. Edward Marshall needed a win, instead could do no better than just helping his teammate at the end of that race. 13th for Edward Marshall tonight. Bryn Robertson 14th, Josh Garrison in 15th. You start looking at drivers that either didn't get to finish the last lap or finished one lap down. Aiden Norman won last week, was glad to have won last week because this bites him more often than not, and it obviously bit him tonight. 16th place for him ahead of Kevin Feimster, who was grateful that no one else won tonight, because as it stood, he was on the very edge. It would have been down to less than 5 points between him and Emma Kruger here at the end of tonight's event. Looking on down at the rest of the 27 car field, you have Austin Mongold, Jonathan Hohenbrink, Steven Oberstadt in 20th place. Again, Oberstadt with a race win at Talladega could take it easy, but wanted another win here tonight and tried to get it. Noah Belleville, unfortunately, so close yet so far away, was 2nd place for so long in this race until it mattered the most. 21st for him, could not take the finish. Neither did Ryan Pinnell or Bradley Wright, who finished 2 laps down. Patrick Oberstadt, 2 laps down as well. Donald Ray, 3 laps down here after a lot of misfortune for that number 50. Matthew Leiter, 19 laps from the finish, never really had a chance, was taken out in the first caution, and it snowballed from there. Elris George as well snowballed, everything compiled on there for that 2-car presidential racing. But we're glad to have the Bahama Boss back here in the Ace Cup Series. Even if tonight wasn't the way he wanted it to go, he will round out this field tonight. What a night for racing. And it just kicks off our Speedway week here on ABN. Tomorrow night, it's qualifying for the HTL Cup Series. We'll be live back here on this channel at 8 p.m. 22 hours and 24 minutes from now. We'll be back live for the start of qualifying. 52 cars fighting for 36 spots. We'll know who's in that 36-car field by the end of tomorrow night. Tuesday, we head to Le Mans. Flyer miles coming in handy. We fly to Le Mans for the International Sports Car Championship. LMP1, LMP2, and GTE. Their swan song season continues as we head over to France. Wednesday, the ABN Allen Boss Cup Series ends its regular season at Richmond on Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. here on ABN Esports 1. Thursday, it's ABN Champ Car. Our heart and soul is at Iowa on Thursday. That is the next week. We're going to be doing something all week long. Kevin, Kristina, it's been awesome having you both in the booth. We'll start off with Kristina, our guest commentator tonight. Obviously, me and Kristina will be staying here overnight for HTL tomorrow, but we'll start off with you. Any closing thoughts on how tonight's race went?
Well, we don't have any catch fence to rebuild, and all the safer barrier blocks we lost tonight pretty quickly replaced. So that's good for the track crew. Feel bad for turf management. They're going to have to find their way down through the grass and redo all that. But no, for real though, fun race. Great to be here. Great to get some Things tested as always for the broadcast, and excited for tomorrow. Of course, we have qualifying and two helpings of dual racing. That's going to be just as intense as what we saw tonight.
And Kevin, obviously your thoughts. You've been here all season long. You've seen some things. We've been able to call some things. What do you think about how the regular season ended tonight?
Personally, I feel for the drivers that didn't make it through to the end there. It sucks that you ran a whole season and either came by the skin of your teeth or just couldn't put it consistently together, or for a few got in the late shuffle for the part-time to full-time and just couldn't get it done in the last 2 races. But the fun doesn't stop there. They still have 10 more race weekends here to go. They can easily try to win a race or 2, play spoiler, try to have some fun here, and really get themselves going for the next season. But for the drivers and the 16 that did end up making the playoffs, the fun doesn't stop here. You got 10 rounds, and by the end of the 10 rounds to 10 weeks, we will know the champion of A Squared. Will it be a defending champion in Jerry Breo? Will it be a new face? Only time will tell on that one, but it's going to be quite enjoyable to see in the next 10 weeks between the 16 drivers who will come out on top and stand alone on top of the mountain and have an A Squared trophy in their hands.
That will do us here at Daytona tonight. We'll be back again tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Be right back here for qualifying coverage of the HTL Cup Series from Daytona. On behalf of everyone here for ARCS, for the A-Square Cup Series, Darkside Mustangs, Midwest Barbecue, and Windy Chevrolet, alongside my co-commentators here at ABN Studios, Kevin Young, Kristina Ryan, I'm Carmen Sienna. Thank you all so much for spending your Sunday evening with us here. We hope you have a safe and wonderful week ahead. But until next time, we'll see you at Daytona tomorrow night. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.